Futures relatively unchanged this morning, coming off the big reversal we saw yesterday and positivity to end off the session. At the end of the day yesterday, all three U.S. equity markets back in positive territory and then some. Nice day overall. It was the S&P 500 up 0.57 after hitting a fresh 2022 low earlier in the season. We saw that pretty impressive bounce. The Dow was up about 84 points at the end of the day, but it was all about tech stocks. It was all about the NASDAQ leading the way, 1.6 to the upside when all was said and done yesterday. Pretty brutal month for stocks, April was, as we head into May a little bit further. We'll get the beginning, anyways, of the two-day Fed meeting starting today. We'll get the decision coming up tomorrow. Looks like we're going to get a half-point interest rate increase. We'll talk about that a little bit coming up here. On that note, the 10-year back to the upside again this morning after hitting 3.01% yesterday, its highest level since December of 2018. We'll also get a look at the jobs market today. The JOLTS jobs report coming at 10 a.m. That's ahead of the non-farm payrolls number on Friday. Pfizer on watch this morning after their report. We're also going to talk a little bit about chip makers here. There was a cautious note on NVIDIA out this morning, so a little bit of negativity. Morgan Stanley talking negatively about NVIDIA. It's Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at a very, very flat board at this point. Pretty quiet right across the entire thing right now. The Dow is still in negative territory. NASDAQ, S&P positive on the day, but not much to look at there. Crude oil as well, pretty uneventful. We did have a nice move back higher after a negative start to the day. For oil, there was a few earnings reports in the energy sector. Marathon, one of those, MRO reported. Bitcoin and Ethereum back in positive territory. Good to see as well. It is Tuesday. Good morning, guys. Going to be an interesting one here as we get set for what is to come tomorrow. Maybe the calm before the storm coming up tomorrow.
Always a potential that you could have a slower day, I suppose, ahead of the Fed rate hike. But usually you anticipate that like the morning of. It's like that day, you know, until the number comes out, maybe we'll be sleepy. But you said it's a pretty flat day, unless you are looking at a chart of Chegg, in which case it slightly resembles, like my daughter would love it because it's like, you know, you just like running down the hill and then you can jump off and dive into the abyss. And we'll see how you get treated when you get down there. But yeah, we'll be talking about Chegg today. We've seen this story before where it goes down, something goes down like 30 to 40% after earnings, and oftentimes you get like a little bit of a squeeze up. So maybe it'll happen here. I'm probably going to be short before I'm long, but always have to be willing to reverse. That's not what happened with Teladoc, right? And it's like when something goes down this far, a lot of times there's a long in there somewhere. But it feels like almost every week on earnings, there's something that's pulling a move like this. There's always something.
I mean, there's something going both ways. Actually, earnings has been pretty successful. Earnings is beating the street right now. There's no, to me, there's no problem with corporate America. We obviously have bigger issues out there right now, and including inflation, obviously, and then oil's dancing around. Oil's down to 104, down about 1% right now. But yeah, guys, welcome to the show. It's going to be another ripper today. Trust me when I tell you. The market again is up 0.14. It started to go. There's lots of stocks to trade, man. I'm all over Apple. The sticky note today, I think it's really good. Please share it, retweet it, like it, everything you can. AMD, Facebook, Rivian, Neo, Apple, everything's on here that you're looking for. There are some small little runners today as well that we'll be looking at. But thank you to everybody for joining. It's going to be a good show. We killed it yesterday, and we'll hope to try to do the same today. But hey, we just take what the market gives us, right? So let's wait to see. I'm excited for AMD. I think we can take out 92 there. There's a lot happening, and we're going to get to that right now, Brendo.
AMD coming up tonight after the close. A big earnings report coming up tonight. So we'll talk about AMD a little bit here. Let's go to the pharmaceutical group first. We'll talk about Biogen. There's two separate angles here for Biogen. Before we do that, though, let's bring in Miss V. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Welcome to another trading session. I wish you a profitable day. Please like this video and let's get it started, Brendan.
Yeah, one name we talked about at the end of the day yesterday was BIIB on that board, along with Pfizer. Obviously, Pfizer reporting. Biogen, though, reports this morning, but also a little bit of surprise here as the CEO steps down, says the search for a new one has already begun. So maybe a couple of moves to look at here, as I said, with Pfizer today in the pharmaceutical group.
Yeah, realistically, Pfizer, I think we'll have a look at, and maybe we'll talk about that when it gets on the earnings. When we go down our or not earnings list, but the actual watch list. And I like a 47 area on Pfizer. Biogen, on the other hand, for a stock that, and I guess everyone remembers it when they made that 300 to 500 type move, right? And then ever since then, it's just been nothing but downside. But if you take a closer look, for the last month and a half, 2 months or so, it's essentially just been a slight bounce while the market's been seeing the worst of it and just going sideways and holding the 50. So it feels like a stock that has been almost done selling for a while, I want to say. Like, since it put in the lows, you have had 2 straight months of holding support. So this could be one on the verge of a breakout. I mean, you never really want to see, look, when the CEO steps down, it's not usually a good piece of news, not always. But sometimes for a company that's trying to get sort of back on track and make a bounce, it can be seen as a good thing. I just noted the fact that it's been hanging out here for so long. A lot of times you look at, well, what's the first step for a bounce? It's establish a bottom and then consolidate off that bottom. And I don't know a lot of things that actually looked like this that are as large as a Biogen. I'm not going to say that I have any levels on it or was watching it this morning, but the first thing you pull it up and say, look at it hug the 50, look at it hold that high or low. That could be interesting if it can get back above 230. If the market, you can't really say when the market puts in a bottom, but in the event that does, this will set up pretty interestingly to bounce from these levels because there's overhead room, like at least a good 15 to 20% from here on this name anyways.
Yeah, I think as a shareholder, when you see the stock get absolutely annihilated the way it's been here, from June you're at 420. And now you're at 211, so you're cutting half. I mean, which is big for this kind of an industry there. Yeah, there's the 420 there. Maybe they just need to get into plant-based products here, Biogen. But anyways, yeah, no, I feel the same way. I feel like good move when you change up management. Obviously, it's time to do something like that. This has been a big move to the downside. I have no idea what the earnings are. There's obviously only 5,000. I don't think did the earnings come out yet, Brendan? Yeah, so 5,000 shares. Obviously not doing anything here in the 1 minute, so really no levels to look at. It's just, I think as a Biogen shareholder, which I'm not, but if you were, I think it's a good move here, switching up management, getting some new fresh faces in there, new ideas, things like that. So, I mean, I wish PayPal had done the same thing a hell of a lot longer than they did. They only got rid of their CFO. I think that when stocks start to nosedive, and not that Biogen's really doing that. I mean, a lot of stocks have been near the bottom, but when stocks start to fail like that, you do sometimes need a fresh face, fresh ideas. Jim Farley, the same thing with Ford, came in and really revamped that place. And so, yeah, anyways, I think Biogen, new management, good idea for the stock. I mean, it's better than what they're currently doing.
All right, Sean, you mentioned a couple of little ones that worth having a look at this morning. One of those, this artificial intelligence company, SoundHound AI, which de-SPACed last week. I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. We're missing a couple of days of data on our system, but up huge again this morning. This is going back to January of this year, but this company, before it does this SPAC deal, teams up with Qualcomm on some AI development work. So SOUN up huge again today, 40% coming back in. I mean, this thing is trading dollars at a time right now, trying to hold 15.5.
Yeah, so it had a top at 15 yesterday, and there's no levels up here because obviously when it de-SPACs, this is new trading for it, right? So when you look at 15 and that was key, you might have wrote the stock off. I certainly did after the open when it had fallen that far. Didn't really think much of it. But the gap up breaks the 15 level, and I guess when we talk about round numbers, there's 20, and then the midway between that is 17.5, which sits at the high of the day. So those are your two keys, like $15. If it cannot break that, I think we're headed to that 1750. If we break 1750, 20. Just keep in mind, it is very thinly traded. I think there's like 3 million shares outstanding on this, so the float on this anyways. So be very, very careful when trading. I just saw the spread open up to 20 to 30 cents on here, so that can be a little bit tricky as well. When you understand, if you have a stop, let's say for a breakout at 1750, or a stop in front of a short trade, or on the other side of a short trade, you should anticipate your slippage is going to be minimum that 20 to 25 cents, and it could certainly be worse. And that's why you got to trade with these. It's not just about how much or the level that you think you're going to be getting out at. You can say, I want to be short 1650 and give it to 17 even. Well, you're not losing 50 cents on that short. You're losing 75, and in a worst case scenario, maybe $1. And then you got to think about those terms. So just be very cautious trading this. I'm 1750, 15, 20. Those are the big levels. When these things de-SPAC, it's those round numbers because it's all based off of 10 to come into play.
Yeah, I mean, I hate SPACs. I mean, they've just been horrendous. So I feel like this is only going down based on everything else, based on past experience with SPACs. But it's not a stock-specific comment, obviously. It's just like, DraftKings, every single EV name. I mean, there's been a lot of SPAC issues there. PaySafe, BarkBox, Clover. I mean, we can go on and on. SoFi, everything you want to pick your poison. But again, different business, so we don't treat every stock the same. It's just be very careful. Like I saw Dominic in the chat there say he thought he was dead on this yesterday and held it. Well, you know what? Sometimes you're lucky when you hold something, and this one's all the way up 50% today, right? You get that 40% bump. Neil just talked about levels. I think they're quite obvious. If you don't get to 17, then you probably are going to be seeing 11, honestly, today. So just be careful about this name. If I was long from yesterday, Dominic, and you trade a lot of these small ones and I don't, but I would think to get something out if we come up to 16, in between 16 and 17 today. I mean, this is literally a gift horse, again, coming up that 37% low float. Not much news here, but there's still news, so it's creating some buzz. Nice little move to the upside, but you can see what's happening right now. You're starting to come in a little bit, fade through. If you don't hold some of these pre-market levels, you take down this 1350, then you may halt on someone flattening their position, and then you have a problem because you're right back into 10. So for me, hey, look, I'm more conservative than the rest of you. That's obvious. You see the way I trade. So I would be like, wow, this is 40% up, and I didn't have too much faith in this name. I would probably be getting out of it. But right now, congratulations, anybody that held it, man. It's a great trade. I don't have it on board. I don't trade these names overnight or anything like that. So I would just watch it. And if you're near the 17 level, that's your break spot. So if you want to go long, you take that long. For me, I'd get something out between 16 and 1650 and then see what happens here at 17. So that's it. I don't need to zoom out. There's only 4 or 5 days of data here. So I think 17 is really the area that you're looking at.
Just having a look at the market here, guys. Back to session highs, essentially. We were talking a little bit before we came on about what happened late in the day yesterday and the impressive amount of buying that came in. Yes, there was a lot of short covering that happened after multiple down days, but we just held 4150 again on the S&P, which was a significant level all last week as far as support goes. It's looking pretty positive once again. Just a note on the overall market here.
I was saying today, I think possibly could have smelt a little bit of a bottom there. I do think that we know the plan. We know the plan of action already. It's going to be 50 now. It's going to be 50 again. And then it's the third hike from here is what I think people are worried about or wondering about, not worried. But I think you got 1 more % in them. The Fed's starting to go right now with their plan of action. They've really stuck to course. I feel like Jerome Powell is in control and has been forever. He did really great during President Trump. Now the same thing for President Biden. And I just feel like the Fed is still in control here. Like inflation is running rampant. We know that. You go to the grocery store, you can see gas, ridiculous. Randy, like your diesel, I just saw it for like $2.30 or something a liter here, which is nuts. That's like today. It's like $8 or $9 a gallon or something like that. No, 2 times 3. Yeah, it's like $8 a gallon for diesel here. But anyways, yeah, prices are out of control. But I really feel like the Fed, although they don't have your back right now, people say, oh, you don't have, the Fed getting in there and buying and they're trimming. We know the plan of action. But what I'm getting at here is we saw Facebook rally. I think a lot of these stocks have reweighted already. And that's the benefit of it here. Facebook's already gotten hit. We already know their numbers. They've already gotten smashed down here. Now, pending more bad news, I feel like they've been reweighted. Stocks that maybe haven't been reweighted yet. Microsoft still up high, 285. Maybe there's some steam coming out of Microsoft at some point just because it's hanging out, right? Apple is getting reweighted right now. I mean, they touched 154 yesterday, right? That was a big move back down. See, like, got reweighted down here, down to 150, made the move back to 180. Like, that's a monster move. 13 straight days up. Now coming back in, finding a base. Now maybe it's time to go up. So I'm not all doomsday here, and I've never been. I feel like dollar cost averaging is going to win the day here. Buying a stock like Google or something like that on some of these lows, like 2,300, are you kidding me? This stock is splitting in July. This is going to be a monster. I think you got to go in there and buy up some of these names. Tesla as well, possibly at some of these levels. Tesla has other issues because of Elon. He's always going to be there. He's always going to have something going on. But honestly, I don't know if the bottom's in, and you can never call bottoms. No one's ever called a bottom, right? So the point is that, well, I mean, you have that Mark Haynes bottom that they say was 666 there on the S&P. but the point is that dollar cost averaging into names that you like, whether or not it be healthcare, whether or not be the SPYs, the Qs, any kind of ETF. I love SMH right here. I love NVIDIA. Downgrade NVIDIA. Bring it on. Like, this is kind of the stuff that you want. You want to be dollar cost averaging into names that you like, not into names like DraftKings, not into names that are possibly still overpriced. But you want to get the high quality names. So Brendan, to answer your question, and we'll see what Neil has to say. But I think that we've made, I don't want to say a bottom, because like I said, that's impossible to call. But I think a lot of the news is baked in, and you can start, if you have cash on the sidelines, I think it's wise to start dipping in and putting some to work.
I think if your time horizon is long enough. I had this conversation with my barber last night, and we were talking about this. It's like, if you don't have something in your portfolio that you're not comfortable buying once a month, then find what that is for you. And if it's the index, it's the index. If it's Berkshire, I'm just throwing that out there, it's Berkshire. If it's a dividend-paying stock, it's that. If it's Apple, it's that. It's just find something along those lines or a company that you like, that you understand, and then work your way into it. Because, again, you can't find the bottom. I don't even know how serious Mark Haynes was, because sometimes you come in, and I get what he called it, but sometimes I get so doom and gloom on a day that it's just a good day to say something like that. And then sometimes it turns out to be right. But for yesterday, we can talk about a possible temporary bottom, because I remember, and we didn't have Arun, he'll be here today, but there was that 4,100, 4,095 area. And when we got through that on the ES, we accelerated to the downside. That was the point yesterday where it felt the absolute worst, right? And then you just, on a 60-minute chart, this is what that candle looks like to bring it all back in one shot to end the day. Last I checked, that looks like a wick-off bottom. If you're just looking at it from a technical standpoint, you took the last significant support level on the ES for a long time, and then you whipsaw. You basically had a wick-off bottom. So when that happens, if you then hold the previous low, I'm looking at like 4120 or so, your next move, in theory, should be the upside, and that's what we look at for equities all the time. That's what the futures are basically telling you today. And then there's like 1,000,001 stocks which are in front of a resistance point that's key. We'll talk about the chips, but whether that's AMD, that 9150 to 92, which has been trouble for the last week. For Intel, that 45 to 45.5, that's been trouble. We talked about Roku. There's so many names like it. We'll go through all of them, but that's a wick-off bottom on the ES at a monster level. Usually that's, at least in the short term, a reversal. And someone said in the chat, like, what if we get 75 points? If the Fed were to surprise, and first of all, I'll be the first to say, all last year I was just like, it doesn't make any sense to me, this transitory nonsense. It doesn't make any sense, doesn't make any sense. All that said, you got to take action. They're Jerome's been very good, and the Fed's been very good about telegraphing things, and that's part of what they do. If they were to not do what is expected tomorrow, obviously as a day trader, I'm sure we'd have a little bit of fun trading the market. But it's not going to happen. That's not what they do. It would be an abject disaster. That's not what they're about. Like, it's going to be that half point, because the last thing you do is shock the market tomorrow.
Yeah, the other angle, obviously, Friday morning we'll get the jobs report. Non-farm payrolls coming out for April 8:30 on Friday, which will be post-Fed, but also another big event. Let's go to streaming. We've talked a lot about Netflix. The move to the downside just crushed last month as well. Paramount Plus reported this morning, formerly Viacom, CBS, back into some interesting support levels over the past couple of days, down 4.5%. I mean, it's not a lot of volume, not an overly impressive move. I started watching that show Halo, which is a Paramount Plus show. I'm not a gamer. I've never been interested into gaming, guys, but it's very well done. If you haven't seen it, worth a watch.
I missed the name of the show then. Halo? Oh, Halo. Okay, well, I've played the game. I'm not a gamer, but that game I've played. But yeah, I have heard good things about it. I'm interested in watching it. I just never have any time to watch anything. Man, I didn't even get to watch the Leafs last night, but which sucks. I also saw some highlights, obviously. But yeah, Paramount, look, let's be real. It's not a good-looking chart. Yeah, daily chart doesn't want to really go very far back here, but it's kind of annoying. But if we get back down to like that 28 level, I guess I was talking about names that had a chance to break out. This was one of them, which was on the midst of a break. And then, of course, you come in today with the miss, and then you're retesting some of those lows. The volume is too poor here for me to really like it. It is, like I said, it would have been, this is so much more interesting when you get this break and then you take the secondary level and then there's just so much room to the upside. When it's downside action, there's not a heck of a lot to do here because if you short the low, well, you're 50 cents away from the actual bottom. That's not very appealing whatsoever. Unless there's a ton of volume there to make it worth scalping, which there isn't. It's only done 400,000 shares. But watch out if that 28.50 were to go on Paramount. That's at least room down to like $1.50 from those levels. More volume and I'd be more keen here. But if you're going to look at something that's down today that you want to trade off of the lows, I kind of feel like Chegg is your best bet to move.
Yeah, you didn't get to watch the Leafs. The Leafs, that was honestly that first period, even though it was only 1-0, it was amazing, man. The crowd was amazing. We killed off a 5-minute major. It's too bad. Well, you'll get to watch it. I don't know when our next game is, but you were saying Tampa in 6, but then you talked to your friend and he's smartened you up.
Well, so
I like the Leafs.
I just got a sound, by the way, but like it's like my buddy basically was saying that like asterisks on the on Tampa's wins because of the bubble and then last year they only had to play half the league. And I'm like, didn't they, like, they're back-to-back cups? Aren't they really, really good? Like, everything I know about them.
The Stanley Cup's the hardest trophy to win.
That's what I'm saying. It's so difficult to sustain.
Back-to-back.
You got to give respect to them. But the Leafs crushed them. So.
Yeah, the Leafs. Yeah, it's one game. You know, we were up 3-1 against Montreal, which was a way worse team than Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has the best goaltender in the world and some of the best players there. That Kucherov is a man. But I won. I bet plus 300 parlay. So 3-1 Matthews with a goal and the Leafs win. So that was a good one. We hit that one there. I didn't think Campbell Soup there would get a shutout, but he did. So the Maple Leafs rocking and rolling. Stanley Cup, here we come. I've already had FOMO, and I took them to win the Eastern Conference there last night at about 7-1 or something. Yeah. So they'll get by these guys. Yeah, CP3 is amazing there. What was the final score in the Dallas Phoenix game? Because I was trying to take some Dallas there against the points spread, but we'll look that up. All right, Brendan, Home Depot on that side, eh? I actually want to pick up some Airbnb. Let me find out about this downgrade. What's going on, Brendo?
Yeah, Home Depot bounced off 300 again, back to 310 according to Piper Sandler. So 300, a huge level for Home Depot to the downside. Airbnb, interesting one. Yeah, Key Corp to the downside. There's Beyond Meat, Roku as well. Banks. Oppenheimer liking the banks, both JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley on here, Expedia and McDonald's, guys, to the upside.
Like I was trying in the afternoon show, I was trying to show off Expedia's daily chart and that 200 period moving average that it was trying to hold, and I couldn't bring it up because it hated me.
Ooh.
But yeah, it's interesting because I think they had a smaller loss than expected. It's just weird to see them down, and given the earnings that they had, and then the downgrade on Airbnb. I find that interesting. I prefer Airbnb to Expedia, and they're a pretty interesting looking chart. I'm going to let you load it up because if I try to bring it up now, it's going to.
Yeah. No, I like Airbnb. I even know, a lot of people using Airbnbs right now. I think they're really cool. Some of the experiences, and if people want to start to travel, I know we're looking at some Airbnbs and things like that. I've never actually booked one, but the experiences that I don't mean the experience booking, but they have different experiences on their platform, things like that. I mean, I've been using it now. I think it's really super easy to use, and I like Airbnb here. Come to the daily chart a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, Fahad. I mean, look, we've been beaten down again. They really haven't been, I use the word re-rating, and what I mean by that is just the fact that, let them come out with their report, let them get hit down, find a proper PE, and then go from there. I'll have to check out what Airbnb's is. Actually, I can do that right now. And by the way, I was just looking, I had Dallas plus 8.5, and they only lost by 7. So we'll check the account this morning. It will be up a little bit more here. Airbnb, their forward PE is 75 right now. So we'll have to wait for earnings for them to come through. I don't know when Airbnb is going to report. Unless they did last week. Do you remember? Obviously I wasn't here, but I don't think so. So, if Airbnb gets down here, especially on some of these downgrades, I like them, 130, 140, something like that. I think they have disruptive technology. It's going to be, it's not that they're hard to mimic, but they already have so many bookings online that I really like this name. And then it was kind of good to see. I've been talking about banks. I feel like this is a good environment for banks. But again, Airbnb, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, both on the upgrade side. They've been beat down again as well. Like, look, this was 170 not even too long ago. Beginning of the year, you basically were at 52-week highs, and now you're down to 120. So you trimmed off here $50 off of 170. So you trimmed about 25% in 3 or 4 months. I like the banks at these levels. Not huge dividends, but I like them. Pick up Canadian banks if you want the dividends, 3-4%. But I think this is a great example of buying some bottoms and just hoping that you can average in to better prices. So I like JP Morgan here, and I like Airbnb, 2 names on those lists.
It's tonight for Airbnb. Also, Starbucks coming up tonight as well. I was just, Ms. V and I were just saying. That stock is a mess, Starbucks, to the downside. So not enough $9 coffees, I guess, going around. It wasn't on the board, but a notable name, DocuSign, guys, with a downgrade today as well, down 4.25 here.
DocuSign's down 4.25. Okay.
I like DocuSign. I haven't looked at that. I have to get away from the word re-rating. Re-rating. That's good. Yeah, re-rating. Yeah, I'm saying it right. It feels like it's like a tongue twister there. But DocuSign, holy crap. Like, as if, I'm just looking at the daily chart right now. Obviously, that's a big move down to $82 again. Like this, talk about a darling stock that was really loved throughout all of COVID, man. This was basically, lawyers, doctors, all these guys, they didn't have to go into work. You could fax over legally signed documents, things like that. You don't have to be physically in the office. I think it's a great technology. I don't know if it's able to be duplicated or anything like that, but DocuSign, again, let me check what the PE is on this one. They're all still going to be high, man. It's probably still in the 50s or something like that.
Oh, God,
37. Okay, so it's 37 right now. So, that's probably historically fine, but might still be a little high. That's probably before today's move, but you're down here to 70, $75. Again, I talked about dollar cost averaging. You really have to believe in some of these names, and right now I'd rather do that kind of a move on indexes or index-like names, like a Softy and some of those other names. But DocuSign, look, I love the technology. I think you can pick some up and be fine with it, but at the same time, these names just continue to get hit. Like ARC yesterday actually went up nicely. So some of these names, I think you can play them a little bit easier in an ETF, in an innovation ETF or something like that. I'm not stamping the buy on ARC or anything, but as I said, it was down 29% last month. But some of these new technology names like a DocuSign probably need to be bought here. Roku was up 11% yesterday, for example. So was DraftKings. So some of these beatdown names, Teladoc. We saw Teladoc, and that's another thing, right? Teladoc comes out, gets flushed down from 60 to 30, and now it's back to 38, right? So there are moves to be had here. I think DocuSign will give you that rip-up rally at some point. I just don't know when, and I'd rather play it above the 50-period moving average, which is $100. So we get above that 100, then we'll dance with it. But for now, I think you got to let these things continue to fade down because we could be wrong. I mean, the market could be nowhere near a bottom.
Well, if that's the case,
I haven't read the chat, but I'm sure that there's a lot of people here that are probably saying. By the way, I think we look better when we're both wearing white. By the way, like I feel like
this is blue.
No, I know, but lighter colors. I know. I feel like that's a good look right now. What do you guys think? But anyways, what do you think about DocuSign?
I'm putting an 80 alert in this right now.
Got these nice mics.
So I just put my alert in for $80 just because sometimes you pop up a chart and you really look at a level on the daily and look at this 80 level. Like give me a break. I don't care which direction you choose to play something like this. Say to yourself, okay, if 80 breaks, I just want a straight breakdown here. But I mean, look at every single time it's bounced. It's $5 or $6 for like all of last week, like pretty much all of last week. It's $5 or $6 off the 80 level. Now I know it's going to maybe retest it here again this morning down to 4%. But yeah, this is a level worth playing off of. So my alert's in there. If it breaks down below 81, I want to make sure I take it. It's very much like that 102 to 103 on Roku, right? We've now broken above that and it's breaking out. Docu would be breaking down if it gets past that 80. So from a technical standpoint, got to have an alert for a level like this. Multi-day break. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen next week. It could not happen at all, and it ends up being long support. But when you see something like that, you want to make sure you lock it off.
All right, let's have a look at the overall market here. We'll bring in Arun, get a check of the futures brought to you by the Small Exchange. They're making it so much easier, guys, to get into futures trading with small, very easy to understand contracts. There's less capital required. There's no PDT rule. Yeah, check out the QR code. Go to thesmallexchange.com, guys. Sign up for their free research as well. They send out daily research, weekly research, fantastic information. Anyways, we thank the Small Exchange, as always. Let's bring in Arun. Going to be an interesting day here, Arun, after that monster bounce back we had yesterday. I mean, so far, so good. Looks like a bit of a continuation.
There's a chance for this market to continue to bounce. I was talking to Neil earlier, who mentioned that, hey, could this to be a quiet day before the Fed? That's a real possibility as well. This market's in an area where we could bounce to the upside, but limited by the resistance to the top end. Remember, we marked off 41.70 up top, all the way up to 42.10, and we're not that far away. Overnight, we hit those levels. We fell back down towards 30, and then now we're making another move or an attempt towards, so we're sitting at 60, but another attempt towards those same levels, those 70 areas. See if we can actually get back there again, because that'll open up the trade a little bit. If you weren't able to pick up some longs earlier this morning, the better longs would have been south of 50, even mid 40s against 41.20 to see if this market could continue its move to the upside. If you weren't able to do that, the next option is going to be see what happens if we break the overnight high. I'm seeing the overnight high as 41.76. So call it 70. Anything north of 70, you can start looking for potential. Well, let's just say if the market can break above 70 and stay above 20, there's a potential to extend, but at the same time, a failed break is a possibility because that is a resistance level. That whole zone is resistance. So you do have to be aware of the possibility of a failed breakout or failed break of overnight highs, which then opens up the short side with the 42.10 stop. So yeah, I think you got to play both sides of this here. Look for resistance plays on the short side on a failed move north of 41.70 into 42.10, same play as yesterday, except now you have a little support as well south of, I would say it's south of 50, but preferably in the mid 40s going all the way down to 41.20 as your support bounce, your support level. So you can play in between, kind of range trade this. As long as you can get the risk right, it makes sense to trade inside the ranges there. And then of course, if you break 20, it's going to have to be that bounce from yesterday, right? 40.50 is going to have to be the bottom end. After we took out 4100 or 40.95, we really had a chance to get going to the downside. Market decided, you know what, 40.50 is going to be the next support level. Okay, 40.50, I guess it's not going to be 4,000, but 40.50 is going to be your next major support level to the downside. And now we've kind of built up two levels on the support side. We still have some resistance levels up top, 41.20, and then 42.55 is going to be the next one up. So today it remains to be seen, but it could be a quiet day. Be prepared for that at the same time. open up your trades, but at the same time, be prepared for a quieter day if we are actually, in fact, waiting for the Fed tomorrow.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We'll check back in again tomorrow. Guys, tomorrow going to be the big day, 2 p.m. We'll get the Fed decision. I mean, it might not be an event at all because of the expectation so high at this point. I mean, yesterday, if you remember, 99% on the CME Fed Funds tool that it will be a half-point hike. That was a watch list. Grab the link from Miss V in the chat if you do need it. We send it out every single morning, guys. Let's get into what we need to know. Talk about chip stocks here. AMD, yeah, after market tonight, we'll get AMD earnings. NVIDIA to the other direction at this point, anyways, with a cautious note from Morgan Stanley on NVIDIA.
Cautious, yeah.
What about that shirt? Anyways, well, we don't have to talk about the shirt.
Arun feels the market's going to be spotty today, I think.
I love it, man.
On that one. That was a new shirt, right?
Of course it was. It was
because the other
definitely a
one was
new
spotty,
shirt.
but this one was like spottier. I feel like.
He had that last week.
He had that last?
Or 2 weeks ago, whenever he
when I was gone?
Yeah.
Okay, anyways, look.
I was just saying, like, he comes, like, we come on the show, we're wearing the shirts, Arun's in the t-shirt and the hoodie, but then when he's remote, chilling out, then he throws on the shirt.
I love you,
Like,
Arun.
this guy's the best, but
He is the best.
maybe we have to trade some Spotify today, but
maybe.
Look, I wrote the number one name here on the sticky note is going to be AMD today, and yeah, it is partly because there's going to be earnings coming through. Not only that, we have this 92 level that we ran into yesterday. Big move off the bottom there. We had Facebook for $7 or $8 at the close. You guys saw that. A nice move to the upside right here. Now AMD is going to test this $92. I feel like it wants to do that. Obviously, if the NASDAQ doesn't go, then it's a moot point from now. But that shirt is spot on, by the way. And you can see right here, 92 to the long side.
Screen grab of that.
That's what I like. I mean, I like this trade here. Yesterday's movement to the upside was pretty epic there. The Dow, the NASDAQ, the S&P, everybody gained monstrous in that last half hour. The Dow gained 300 points in the last hour alone. And these guys, AMD goes from 85.50 all the way to 90 and then continues in the aftermarket and this morning up to 91. So let's see if we take down that 92. Just in case we don't do that, I do have a bid down here at 88.50. So again, yesterday's kind of peak before we went on that monster run, and sort of where we stopped at, to be honest with you, before just taking that next leg was 88.50. So hey, I'm a buyer of AMD back down to 88.50 today. I think this is going to be a monster trade. We just got to wait for it to happen. I don't think I want to take it right off the open. We've talked about that over and over again. It's going to be a little bit of a wild ride. So if we do get a dip back down into, like, I'm literally bidding 85.50. So if it comes back in there, then that's somewhere where we'll look to buy. I'm thinking it should start a little bit earlier than that, maybe even 89 and change. So maybe we'll switch up our game plan here and put something around 89. But I like this 88.50 area. If that somehow comes crashing in and the market really doesn't want to hold something, then we'll try to get out of that trade as fast as we can, maybe even at 88, something like that, lick our wounds, and then see if it does want to fall back down. And then if it doesn't, then we can always push it along again. So let's be patient with some of these names, but I have AMD. It's the number one name on the sticky note. Yesterday's sticky note was 4 for 4 or 5 for 5. So we'll see today what's happening with it. But we did the work. I like AMD through that 92. Also a good area to short it. I mean, it's just a matter of what this market wants to give you.
Yeah, last week we tried this. It broke one time, 91.50, and I think that's where 92 came in. It broke one time to 92. It was the previous level there, so that's the new reestablished level from last week. It did fail. If you look at how many times it's failed this price, it's like if it doesn't break the high, it turns into a short by default. But the other name, which is exactly the same or similar, the only difference between Intel and AMD is Intel reported already. AMD has yet to report, and it can't get above this 45 to 45.50 range. Now remember 45 breaking down. That was the trade on Friday. We're right back here, double top 45 with the same high from yesterday in the pre-market, this 45.50 up in the clear. So it's a very similar level that we're looking at here for Intel to try to break out as well. AMD is more explosive if it goes. All that said, there's double barrel risk on AMD. Both, you have the Fed tomorrow, and on top of that, you have those earnings. So you might see a little risk off at the end of the day regardless. But both of these have room to run to the upside on a percentage basis, whether it's 100 on AMD or it's this 47, 48 area on Intel. It was NVIDIA that got the NVIDIA is also slightly to the upside, and it's got a 196 level, but its bigger resistance is $4 higher, whereas both these two names are pretty much right there right now.
All right, we said not much in the way of earnings as far as excitement anyways. To deal with today, Pfizer, the notable name that reported pre-market this morning. It was the forecast, once again, that was a little bit questionable. I mean, the best way to put it is they failed to raise their forecast, so it was kind of in line with what they had stated earlier. So not a lot happening here for Pfizer other than decent levels of support, guys, on the daily chart.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like outside of the support in the daily chart, you look at 47, 47, 20, and it's much like DocuSign, right? Like it doesn't look terribly good at a bottom here if it breaks, but there is 45 beneath it. And I can tell you, I do know 43 was pretty significant. That's where it ran away from if you go back into last year's trade. So 43, 45, 47, 3 lines of support. It's only interesting if we get down there for a scalp bounce type of play. And if it breaks, I think there's an opportunity to head back to the downside. This is not quite like Biogen, where Biogen has been just consolidating, setting up for a breakout. I'd say Pfizer, if you're not buying off the support or playing a breakdown, you're probably sitting this one out altogether.
Yeah, I'm so sitting it out that I didn't even look at it. So yeah, I mean, I called it up, saw nothing happening. But I just want to say, what's up to Only Music here telling us that AMD is going to miss? Yeah, I mean, they might miss, and then tomorrow we'll trade it accordingly, right? I mean, unfortunately, right now we don't know what it's going to do. I do believe supply chain is going to continue to be an issue, and they could talk about it. To me, it's not about anything with missing. If you've noticed anything at all about earnings right now, especially in the tech space, it's all about the guide, right? It has nothing to do with missing earnings or anything like that. We've seen stocks miss and then absolutely rip up because of the guide, right? So let's just wait to see what does happen. And look, I'm not trying to call AMD's at a bottom or anything like that, but I wouldn't, and this is another thing too, when I talked about buying some of these high quality names, I consider AMD in that basket as well. But that's why I said SMH and not AMD specifically, because I don't really feel like you want to be testing some of these names pre-earnings. That's all. Like, we don't know where it's going to go. So to your point, Only Music, I don't think you want to get involved with an AMD right now. I think you're better off letting it settle down. And if it's up 5% tomorrow, then you can buy it and it'll be cheaper. You know why? Because the numbers would have come down on AMD because the PE, if they have a better report, the stock could actually go up and be cheaper because of the way the price earnings work, right? If they have better earnings and the price goes up, well, you could actually lower your PE in that example as well. But just to look here on Pfizer, you want to talk about a stock reporting. First of all, Pfizer's down to $48. Like, people like this stock at 60 or whatever. Like, it's, it hasn't been great. We've already sort of been through that whole talk with COVID. They have so much more in the pipeline as well. So I like Pfizer. They have the strong dividend, but if you can see here on the imbalance locator, there's absolutely nothing. You even have JP Morgan, Bank of America, and I did misspeak. JP Morgan is at 3.3%. So it's a good dividend there. Goldman Sachs is 2.5%. So there are dividend plays there in the bank. So you could easily just buy one of those banks, stay away from the ETF. But for me right now, Pfizer, if it's not even on the imbalance locator, then it's not something that I'm super interested in. It's kind of stuck in a range. I'm going to stay away from Pfizer unless we break the 45 to the downside. I mean, and then you'll start to see these 41s. But we were just at 62. So it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride. I don't buy any of these names unless you're above the 50 period, like a Pepsi or Coke or something that's like a steady play. You saw J&J rip upside. I like J&J much better than I like Pfizer.
Okay, Western Digital, guys, big mover here in the pre-market this morning. Elliott Investment sending a letter to the board promising up to $1 billion in funding if they look to separate some of their business segments apart and maybe spin off a few as well. So 11.3% here on this move from Elliott, guys, for WDC.
Yeah, there's something breaking out. Obviously, it's going to be about that news, and whether something comes of it with the activist or not, you're going to see it above the 200. It's already made a low here off of 45. You then get this break of previous resistance at 57. So I've got a dip buy in here in front of 57, sitting at 58. I just like the break on the chart. We're in uncharted territories, and if we're going to have an up kind of day, then I like where this one is going to be sitting. Now, if it gets back through 57, well, you got to reevaluate. It wouldn't hold it all the way back to the next key level, which is this 54, 55 area. So, we're going to be a little bit nimble with WDC, but I like Western Digital here just because it is in the midst of that nice little breakout, and hopefully it can sustain it. It looks like we made that wick off bottom, so looking for some long opportunities is going to make a lot of sense. And why not take what looks like one of the strongest names this morning? And look, whether or not they actually are able to spin off anything or get something done is a little bit irrelevant to today and trading it. It's really more about the price action and just seeing this breakout.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big move up. I don't know if I want to trade it based on activists talk, because it could just fall back in. We don't know exactly what the plan of action is. We have the notes on our watch list. So all I can say is go to watchlist.tradertv.live, grab all that, and you can see. But, there is a lot of room to run here. So they called it, Elliot, the board there, called it a $100 name. So we'll see if it gets back up there. But there's a lot of names that need to still climb. Western Digital, right space. They have movement on them. If you're a holder of this name, you may already be in because it's above the 50 period right here. So it's a nice move back up to the upside. Good name, good space. I like Western Digital here. What's up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, I see more people are joining us right now, so welcome everyone. I wish you a wonderful day, and remind you, please help us to get 1,000 likes before the open. Just 15 minutes left, and we would really appreciate your support. Now let's continue with Brandon.
Let's go to Meta Platforms, back to the upside potentially this morning. I mean, we're positive, but right at the top end of the range from yesterday, there was a move, or some rumors of a possible move by the UK to not necessarily be as harsh on the regulation side when it comes to platforms, social media platforms like Facebook. They even mentioned Alphabet in that note as well. They were planning on developing and implementing an entire division of the government to look after these types of companies. But apparently that has been put on the back burner. So nice move for FB yesterday, guys. We're back to the highs.
Last week's high, 212.50. It went screaming into this number, and we're basically right here again. There's so many names that look like this. We showed AMD, we just showed Intel. You have Meta basically showing you the same type of thing. You've got an all-week top at 212.50 with room to about 218. Now, the same caveat holds. If you don't break a level like this, you do run the risk of pulling back in and then sort of not filling in the gap, because that's not really a gap, but filling in the range. But this is a classic wipeout bottom, consecutive higher lows, forming a wedge into a 212.50 breakout for Meta. So let's just sort of lock that one away. By the way, that sound that I'm in, it's now getting a nice consolidation off the top. So if it wasn't important to have a stop at 1750, it's more important now because it's also consolidating up there. And if it takes out 1750, this is definitely one that can run to something like at $20, even have halts on the way to the upside. So make sure you got that stop through the high.
Look, we've been talking about Facebook for a hell of a long time. I mean, it was my number one stock yesterday, the number one stock here on the show. And it was just, we had the long early as well down here. I couldn't believe that we didn't have the 199.50. We talked about that as well, but we just never got filled there off the open as it just took off, right? And so again, big trading yesterday on Facebook, and we played it off this 204, so that's sort of the level that I'm looking at right now. It's not going to get back into there. We're breaking out on Facebook. I mean, I don't want to buy highs right now in the market. I don't know what this market's going to do. You're up 0.22%, but I love Facebook. I added to my position before earnings down here, so really lucky to get down into Facebook long, like 172, 173, something like that. And again, I'm doing exactly what I'm telling everybody. I'm dollar cost averaging into big names. So like when I buy Facebook at 210 or something and then get it again at 170, well, right now, your average price is somewhere in the middle, right? So we've been long Facebook. I can find out what my average price is. I will find out and give it to you guys in a minute. But there we go. We are breaking out. I mean, I think it's about as clear as any trade that you're ever going to see breaking through this 212.50 right now. But again, you're up that 0.45%. I think we were up 5 or 6% yesterday on Facebook off that nice move at its highs. So I don't know. I would say this is a no-brainer trade to break through here on the 20-minute, but at the same time, it was just so accelerated the last couple days that it does have the ability to fall back in. So the worst thing I'd want to do is punch that high at 212.50 213, and then have the NASDAQ drift lower here, back down to 13,000 or something. So I'm going to leave Facebook alone until we find it, have a bottom. I will be on it. It's the number 2 name here on the sticky note. Please, if you're able to, like, subscribe, all this kind of stuff to the show, or watch us on tradertv.live. And one more time, here's the sticky note out today. We have AMD. I can't wait to get to Rivian. I believe that's going to be next. Rivian, Neo, AMD, they're all on here with my notes, what we're talking about. Already 86 likes and 22 retweets. So thank you so much for that. Hey, what's up, Kathy? Let's go. Let's just hit all the like buttons on all these. We'll retweet some comments as well. Please explain why Canada's stock market is better than the U.S. Okay, well, I don't want to say, I only read that quickly there, and I will read that. But again, I don't think it's better. It might be performing better year to date because of the energy, mining, things like that, natural resources. I mean, that's what Canada's all about. We literally have 0 tech companies, like Shopify is here.
Oh, I threw up the one. So look, right. we got one. We got one.
There's other ones too.
No, we're joking about that. Yeah. No, but it's like Brazil. We talked about that with Brazil. It's just simply it's what's in the TSX.
I mean, the NASDAQ is getting crushed.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're heavily weighted to names that are holding up better in this downturn. That's all.
Yeah. So, anyways, Brendan, that's that. Let's go over to Rivian.
I mean, BlackBerry, guys, come on. Rivian. $1.5 billion in funding, guys, coming from the state of Georgia for a $5 billion assembly plant in Georgia. So nice. I mean, a nice funding incentive here for the company, but overall, it's still going to cost them, 4+ and change.
Yeah, but I mean, funding. I don't remember the last time I put Rivian on here as a long. So I'm going to talk about it because I think there's a good possibility here. And look, it's staring you right in the face, this 3250. I'm ready to go pretty ham on this. Like, they get the funding. It's up to $1.5 billion in rebates and tax credits, incentives, things like that. It's really nice, obviously, when you get state-sponsored initiatives like that. The plant's going to be kicking. They've already talked about getting this thing up and running, hopefully by the end of the year. We're going to find out what Rivian's made of today. I've already paid for the short, so it's not, I don't want to think that this name can only go up today. But hey, let's test that 3250. It's great. It's great news for them. You just talked about it right there. Be paid an average. I mean, there's stuff here. Average salary of $56,000. I don't know if that's good enough or not. I don't know what's going on in Georgia, but that sounds fine to me. The IPO lockup, though, I just saw this note.
It's on Monday.
Yeah, I didn't even see this before. And that's why you got to check out the watch list on tradertv.live. But the watch list was a hold my beer. No, not the watch list. The lockup was a hold my beer for its friend that you have up right now, Lucid.
Yeah.
So, and we had the Saudis in there. I don't know. Like, just because the lockup is over, is Ford selling? Oh, my water bottle's in the way there. Is Ford selling their shares? Is Amazon selling their shares? Maybe I've missed that report. Maybe they've sold a little bit of that already. But 7,500 workers. I mean, look, I think it's a good news for Rivian. People want to get their money into EV stocks. You said the story about your barber, how he bought Tesla and was looking for other names. So I feel like people will buy Rivian. So
he was actually looking at this. Well, anyway.
Yeah, so I'm going to wait for 3250. If it takes it, it takes it, and giddy up.
So like that lockup, and I think it's always a no comment. I think the last out of Ford and Amazon as usual is like, yeah, well, they're not commenting on it, and we'll find out afterwards on Monday. We'll definitely be looking at and trading Rivian on Monday. I just like Lucid. I know we're jumping away from Rivian for a second. I just like Lucid. I know a lot of talk has been about this, and we looked at it last week as well. Barcoding off the bottom, kind of like Biogen is on the daily chart. You made the last low, and since then you've just been holding this bottom. Look at what 1950 looks like. For potential breakout here. And if you even set it up for like 1910. So you've got the 1910 into 50s, and then you've got 1950 into 20, and you've got 20 into oblivion. Like, there's multiple levels here that can hold up, but it's just establishing a bottom and then breaking out from it. And that's why I like a little bit better in Lucid. I mean, okay, fine. You can say that it also doesn't have the lockup looming, but that's a next week event. There's a lot that's going to transpire. I know it's only a few days, but a lot is transpiring in those few days before the Rivian lockup. I think that'll be a bigger deal on maybe Thursday, Friday, and then, of course, on Monday. But I like Lucid for the initial break, then a 1950, and then also, probably taking those out in front of 20. 20 psychological. It might have trouble getting through that.
I wanted to mention real quick here, guys, one to kind of put in your back pocket for today, just as, a flyer. Avis reported up 9% here, not on a lot of volume, but sitting here at 300 on a decent report, if you remember. This does have a short interest. Remember that day this thing went all the way up here to 550? So still holding 300 for Avis. Not a lot of volume here, but Avis reported.
Yeah, I remember the squeeze that they put on.
Yeah, that was, yeah, well, you just talked about, what, 580 or something that high there. A name I like, since we're still here, and it's another name that's on the watch list, why not think about, anyways, NEO here. NEO yesterday, it's too bad the trades aren't on here. We really traded NEO pretty good yesterday. We were initially short, then we caught the long and was able to hit that. But every single time we had some problems at 1750. So again, the market just took a little bit of a dip down. Nothing to really be worried about as it's kind of came back a little bit there. But right now, yeah, 1750 coming into play one more time here. So I think that's something to look at here for NIO. Again, I don't like to take it right off the open, because like we could easily get there, then fade back down in. So I am waiting around 1670, 1680 down into here for NIO. So I'm just trying to be a little more patient. And of course, like as soon as, I don't understand, like as soon as I talk about this name, it just jumped up like, you know, 7 cents right here in that little move. It has nothing to do, obviously, with what we're talking about. We're getting closer and closer to the open right now. But yeah, that 1750 is a great little spot there for NIO. We've seen it fly around before. Chinese names getting bids over the last couple of days. Obviously, we talked a little bit about the delisting and things like that. Not that NEO was ever in risk of that, but you never know with politics and the way that works out, what exactly is going to happen, especially with state-sponsored names. Oh, you know what? I saw Alibaba. There was a report yesterday in Hong Kong that there was like an arrest warrant or something going out for somebody's last name Ma.
But
but
we were talking about this before.
Oh, like, were you? Yeah, and I don't know. And I guess I don't have the symbol in Hong Kong, but
so it was down in Hong Kong.
Down 10%.
Yeah.
But then it wasn't Jack Ma. Like,
no,
I
mean,
mean,
the guy's name had like 2 syllables, and Jack obviously. I mean, it's just.
But it's just kind of like. And I don't know how popular Ma is as a last name, but it's kind of like saying like Smith maybe or something like that.
It's something like that.
You know, so anyways, I get how it moved, but just watch out for Alibaba. I'm going to assume that was not Jack Ma.
Of course not. It can't.
So, yeah, I mean, you know, if you want to look at that, but just a funny story, if you want to look that up, Alibaba and Jack Ma last night had some run-ins with CCTV. They're putting out some report that a warrant was out, so. Something to look at anyways.
Yeah, he's apparently fine. And well, before we come back, I'm going to talk about Roku because we mentioned this one on Friday, but let's quickly go. I know you're looking at that SNOA, Brendo. I'm watching that as well.
Yeah, nice move for this one this morning on positive FDA note for SNOA back into, however, significant levels here. 420 was this high and this high, and then we're into this congestion area around 450. So. It did fail already down to 360, but testing this 420 and then 450 above that, guys, for SNOA.
Yeah, I definitely wrote down the 420 for SNOA. I think just, yeah, we've seen that anytime you consolidate at that price, it's just psychological. I don't know what it is about it on some of those small caps. In the afternoon, we talked about, and every chart's going to look so similar for a lot of these tech names. Roku, wipeout bottom, 102. It did make the 102 break and got to 103 very, very late, and then right into the aftermarket, was able to get up there. And worth noting, kind of like AMD did on its original 9150 break, got to 92. This 102 has been to that 103.5 before. So I'm trying to play it catching a bid inside of the range here, but the breakout is at about 103.50, and it's about the room it has to the upside. So you got about $10 to $15 worth of room to the upside, about 8 or 9 to first level, you know, at this level up here. So Roku, we're going to definitely be revisiting this trade for sure after it was so good in the afternoon. We said some of these things didn't have enough time to continue the move at 3 o'clock or 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, so you'd have to revisit it going in again here this morning. You just mentioned Baba. I'll quickly show it to you guys. Obviously, it doesn't really matter because like it didn't trade down here. But Alibaba was very similar at a 102, 103 area. I'm giving it 102, 104. If Baba cannot be a fade off of this level, but it is a bigger target area than previous. Like you put in a huge recovery off 95. Now I'm looking at this target area back from like early into April. It's this massive range, 102 to 104. That's what has to hold. I did say when looking at Facebook, I mentioned SOUN could halt off the open. open. I did not mean Facebook would halt. I know I had the chart up of Facebook. It is SOUN I was talking about. That just actually tested 16, so I am short in front of 1750 with a stop there. Next bid's in front of 1550, and I just got Roku.
Yeah, I was going to say watch out because some of these longs are going to hit me very, very soon. I don't know, Brendan. I don't know what's going on right now, but the market, and maybe it's nothing. I mean, we don't have to always think that there's like some epic collapse happening right now, but I am going to reprice my AMD a little bit, 89.25 instead of that 89.50 there. We actually should have got 89.50s, but we didn't. We pulled it. So let's wait to see 89.25 now on AMD as the NASDAQ. Here it is. It's just coming in a little bit. Nothing to worry about. We're still positive. But yeah, that's the move. I mean, we might test. Like I said, how ironic is it? The bottom right now is 89. Is 13,000. So I said that we could pull in and test that 13,000. So let's pick up some NEO and some other names if that does happen. Quick check on the imbalances, as this might be what's doing it, but not. Right now, IAG is a $2 name, so that's nothing. Merck, NEO's on a sell side here. There's actually no NASDAQ names whatsoever on here that are going to move the needle. So I don't know, nice little move downside. There's some talk here about Putin and things like that. Remember, the Fed, but it doesn't seem like it's negative, just that they may be open to dialogue. That's a good thing. Okay, so, oh man, that 89.50 might have been good. Yeah, Chegg on the downside here. Remember, it's Fed. It's not Fed today. It's Fed talk today. They're meeting. I don't know if we'll hear anything from that meeting. Normally, it's pretty tight-lipped until tomorrow, but we will find out tomorrow with the number coming out in the afternoon. So that's not today. It's tomorrow, but the Fed is jamming right now, talking. So any of the shorts probably pretty good right now. We're going to look to pick up some AMD off the open. Facebook is on my mind, but that has to go a little bit lower. Rivian, NEO, and Apple.
And I forgot about Chegg. Chegg failed, broke through $15, got to $14.85. As long as it holds that bid, I'm long in front of 15. But if it takes out the bottom, you got to be able to give it up. Horrible, horrible. Anytime you were saved by guidance the previous quarter and you scale that back, you're going to get screwed. Miss V is on the bell in 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ring it.
There it is.
Rally bell once again. We love the
Maple Leaf rally bell right there. Okay, we're going to have to wait for NEO because it's not open yet, so we're going to have to wait for that one. Just watching it. One name that is open, of course, is AMD, and yeah, we're heading southbound right now on AMD. Hopefully some of your shorts are starting to print. Here we go, though, 89.50 getting touched. We're at 89.25, so a little bit of a move down here for AMD. We'll get picked up. Maybe we'll just pick ourselves up right now. Now the NASDAQ's coming in a little bit more right now. Look, we said maybe a march down to 13,000. So let's try to respect that a little bit and see. Let's start right now with AMD. I mean, enough is enough. It's coming back in. We'll buy some 45s and see what happens. We are at 25. This is a small position, but let's try to pick up some AMD here. Watch the NASDAQ though, man. Trying to bounce off 13 right now. Yeah, and just quickly here's Roku. It tested that 100 level, still in the pocket at least for the potential breakout, but you saw that big slam to the downside, so you want to be patient there. SOUN, that did the nice little rollover, so we'll hit the... Yeah, as it rolls over from 17, it did test 17.50 twice. I got some out there, 15.6, able to take over $1 on that trade. Tesla, which we didn't get to very, very quickly here. Tesla's starting to fall back. We just took out 900 to the downside. You'll probably remember 880 to 885, but that 200 period proving to be trouble. That's 907, 908 up there, and it's proving to be a lot of trouble. It's still in the range. As much as we're falling down, if Tesla's above 895, it hasn't really broken the range, although it's testing it as we speak. Ooh, okay, so average price 36 now. We actually got that 25 in on AMD, so average price now 36. Let's see where we go. I mean, it's basically flat right now. We are trying to buy, remember, if we're wrong on AMD, we're trying to buy some 88.50s, and then, you know, we'll probably wind up dropping them out if we take down 88 or so to the downside. I mean, this market has a lot to fall. We were up 1.7% maybe yesterday. So let's not, like I keep saying, count that this market is done going down. So that's AMD right now. Facebook is trying to fall a little bit, but not enough to really worry me yet. We're really not into any buy zones. We are already long, and there goes AMD back up to the upside right now. So 40 cents now in the money here on AMD. Let's see where we go from there. Apple is the other name that we're looking to pick up as well. AMD is just dancing. I mean, so we're going to have to wait to see if that can go. Apple, the only level that I really wrote down was this 154. We've known Apple to be weak the last couple days. So, hey, if we get a fall back into there, we'll do that. And there it is. Wow. We're already starting it off. AMD 1 for 1 right now. 70 cents in the money on AMD. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, just going to take the first leg out if I can. Come on, get the fill first, Neil. Give me a break. There's Roku. It just broke 104, 104.50. Actually got up to 104.76. So I'm going to take some out in front of that 105. First chance that we get. Starting to really run here. And I see this OST, low float. There we go. We'll ring the register on that in a quick second in Roku. But OST, low float, or 6 million float, just absolutely booming. This stock got destroyed. It was last week. I remember. This is the one. Remember, Brennan? This is the one I was talking about. Yeah. So, anyways, starting to get going here, but just keep in mind how far it's been crushed and how much room it has to go. There's some big levels if it comes back to halts, like $10, $11. But this is one from last week that got absolutely destroyed. I forgot the name of the stock that halted multiple times down, but it was OST and wowzers. Just this 27% is nothing on this stock. Nothing.
No. All right. So we're into another position right now, and it's NIO here. So we want to take it in. We're watching that 17. Ooh, this is a nice move up. We'll take some 26s if we can get it, but we don't because we miss it. Okay. So yeah, let's see if this can go upside, man. We just bought some 13s here on NIO. I tried to offer 26. Let's see if it takes us out now. NIO, if the market rips, man, we know we like this one. It has a 1750 bid into it, and there it is, man. Let's go to the upside here as this market's really taking off. We're doing quite well again. 2 for 2 right now to start the day. Brendo, hit him.
Another one that reported, guys. Estee Lauder trying to get back to the upside. Not a lot of volume here, but monster spike there at the open for EL.
Yeah, I just got into first leg on Lucid here. It's a new position for me. Got the 1910. Remember, 1950 is also a big level as well. 1950 going back to last week. So I want to play this into 50, 1950 into 200, which is another monster look. But got to watch out for what this market is doing. I'm watching always when I trade any kind of EV name, I got to watch out for Tesla. And Tesla is testing that pre-market low. If this starts to fall off, it doesn't invalidate the long. In Lucid, you just have to start thinking about tempering some expectations a little bit. But Lucid just came in just now a couple of seconds ago. We're looking at Intel and AMD. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I always do that, but Intel does not get through that 45, obviously, so no Apple. Breakout. Yeah. If we can't get through 45, it's going to be a fade there. That is a failure at a key level. So any kind of pop into 45, I will try the short first. And like I said, Tesla coming down does mean that Lucid starting to come back in on the break. It's hard to break out with Tesla's dragging you down.
I just had the exact same thought there. I mean, we're cashing out of NEO, man. It's a nice trade right there. So we'll go whoa on that one. We got some 32s out there on this name. There it is again. Wow, 37s. Okay, yeah, we are flying here. Let's take some more out, man. We get some 38s, 39s out for us here on. And this is what I'm doing, man. I'm just scalping these out, which allows me to hold some for it. Give me some 39s, baby, to that upside here as we're blowing through them. So there's a nice little win again. 25 cents in the money for NEO. We're 2 for 2. That's it, man. 1 ins, multiple outs. Let's go. AMD, 50 cents in the money, and that's trying to climb as well. Yes. Market is dumping, and what I was going to get at was Apple. Apple right now cannot hold a bid, man. Apple's down now 0.5%, more than the NASDAQ. Apple's trying to break this 156.50, so it ain't good. Rivian takes out 32.50, so there it is, man. We called that. This is a light trade, but there goes Rivian to the upside. There goes NEO. Man, this is a good day one more time for us here. Wow. I keep saying I'm going to up my shares, and I just got to do it at some point. But there it is again, 3 for 3. Everything rocking. Rivian, NEO, AMD. Today, once again, Ice Cube, is a good day.
Yeah, I'm going to take more shares out of Lucid. Now starting to make a nice reversal. Tesla, by the way, just jammed $10 from bottom to top. And the second that happened, Lucid was right to the quarters. Now it's into the 30s. Remember, 1950. 1950 is a secondary break on Lucid. We get through 1950, and you can really start the party. So I do look for that to add into the position as opposed to only taking shares off. So market with a nice little bounce off the lows. But the NASDAQ is still testing 13,000. Be careful if that gets taken out. Brennan?
I did that thing when I pushed the wrong market for the stock that I was trying to bring up, so my chart's not working. But trust me when I say banks are strong, guys. So there is a little bit of positivity. There we go. There's XLF, anyways, the ETF trying to lead. Banks, very strong.
Oh, my chart won't.
Yeah, we talked about banks, man. I mean, I do like that bank call there, what's happening right now. I mean, you can't be tech everything, right? So it is nice to get some bank movement there. Good call there, Brendo.
Ooh, baby.
Yeah, Rivian, what do you have on board over there?
SOUN just halted to the downside, halted at 14.57. The indicated open is 13.96 currently, although I don't put as much stock in the indicated opens as before. A lot of times it hasn't mattered too much. A lot of times it just tightens up and opens flat on some of these names. But obviously 13 is a pretty big level here. If it breaks 13, 11 to 11.50s. If it breaks out at 17.50, I think it could go to 20. It could have gone to 20. It decided it wanted to go the other way. I'm starting to think about taking a little bit more off of Lucid, by the way, because Tesla just rejected 200. Just rejected 900. Yeah, 200. Come on, Neil. Just rejected 900 after trying to bounce a little bit. So I will take a little bit more out of Lucid. If 1950 is a level, well, then covering on the way to 1950 is going to make some sense here, especially if there's relative weakness in the big boy.
Yeah, I'm taking a little bit more out here as well as we go, guys. I mean, it's been a monster morning. Neo, nicely done to the upside right there. We have good outs here on Rivian. I mean, this is a name that we had. I mean, everything we're trading today is on the watch list and given these levels too, including AMD on these buys, right? Including Neo on this buy as well, including Rivian on this. So these are all here on the sticky note, and we're starting to make some moves to the upside right now. Give it to them, Brendan.
Another one just halting, guys. One from last week. We were dealing with NUTX to the downside. Big flush there for NUTX.
NutX, Randy. It's NutX. It doesn't matter what the name of the company is. You see NUTX and you don't say NutX, then I don't know what you're doing. You're not having any fun whatsoever. We traded it a little bit, like a tiny little bit. Last week, as you can see here on the way to the upside, but that's another failure off the top. Like if these levels if it doesn't break the top, something like a 10, the same way 1750 can head down, but it doesn't necessarily mean done. Sometimes these wipe out, wash a lot of the longs out, hold the next support level like a 9 and can bounce back up. That would be my concern with the last of the SOUN trade. And I think if you're in this one as well, NutX, you got to watch out in case it holds that 9. Going back over to Tesla, because I mentioned that it had rejected 900 again. There was a bounce in here, and it's hard to see, but there was a bounce back into 900 on this 3-minute chart, and then it slammed right back to the downside. It's holding 895. If we can manage to make this like a wick-off bottom, and the market holds 13,000, well, that's going to be pretty. That's a strong move. Like when you sell off like this in Tesla, whenever it recovers, that's a strong move. So I want to make sure I'm holding on to some of Lucid. Lucid is the one that I liked. I still haven't gotten into Intel one way or the other. Yeah, okay, that's why. So like I said, if Intel didn't get through 45, it would be a pop and fade trade in front of 45. Well, it's running away from that price. That's why we're not in.
Yeah, we just got into Facebook there as it took out that high, and and then it just tanked on us right now. So Facebook coming back in a little bit here. So we're going to have an average price of 211 basically, 210.99 there. Like I said, if this market fails, man, we're going to have a little bit of a problem here for FB. So let's see where we go on this one. We wanted the long again on this name, but really the problem was, and again, I said I'd sort of let this settle down. It's 940, so I mean the market needs to settle down a bit at some point. Let's just see where we go on this one. So Facebook still has a 209 bottom here. So if that comes through, fine. But right now, in a little bit of trouble here on a 211 average price for Facebook. So, but Rivian, no problems on this one, as this is starting to go to the upside now as well. Not now. I mean, we're already nicely done here. Maybe we can get a 94 out as we're bouncing around 33. So we'll offer out Rivian right now to see if that can go up to the upside. But it looks like Facebook is failing through 210 right now. We probably got to get a little lighter if it takes down 210 because you have a 209 bottom staring you in the face here.
Yeah, and it'll be open. SOUN will be open in about 1 minute. I will get to that. I'm not using a market on open order because I'm already out of most of the position. If I hadn't covered anything, I would be doing so. Chegg, of course, makes the bounce, and without me, I was trying to catch 15s off of the open on any kind of a dip in front of that 1485 bottom, and then it starts squeezing, and that's the thing. Like, I know it's a bad quarter, and it's an ugly chart, but a lot of times these things will put in a squeeze. If it gets to 18, that'd be the first look for where I would think about shorting this one again. And then, after that, 20 is an obvious level to that upside. Lucid is trying to hold fort here. It's a Lucid and Roku longs, but remember we said Tesla was failing, get some more shares out before it gets to that 1950? Looks like that was a good decision. It's trying to bounce off 19. So we're trying to maybe hold up and retake these levels to the upside. I will try one reload here in front of 19. But if we don't get through that 50 level, it's going to be a little bit of trouble for that Lucid. Roku, I feel a lot more confident about here than Lucid because it was a bit of a stronger move. It gave me the dip instead of having to worry about paying up to 103s. We were able to get the 102s from last night. take it to 105. We've already banked some profit. And now if we can take out those highs, we can start thinking about that 110 to 115 area. Miss V?
Hey Neil, Dominic Famulara sent us a super chat talking that OST is halted to the upside. Can we check OST, please?
Oh, yeah, absolutely we can. We're just talking about that. Look, that stock, it's like that 34%, 24% is nothing on it when you look at the daily. This is still not a heck of a lot. This was 10 times higher than this just a few days ago, and that's why you have to be careful. Very, very small floater. It has yet to fail in the midst of an obvious break. And if I just go to the 15-minute chart, it's going to show you the absolute nonsense that is, and you got to zoom right in to see how we're breaking out. And it's really probably if we get through $5 where it should accelerate, that's where the long consolidation was on the halt down. But through 5, and things could get very, very dicey for anybody short this. You'll notice I'm not even thinking about shorting this until maybe a couple of halts or a failure at that 5, I suppose. But until it reopens and shows me some stability, it's easier to sit that one out. SOUN, just a little bit safer for me. It opened back up. You're seeing it still for now falling to the downside. I think it could catch a bit at 13 even. That's what I'm looking to see here. If we get through 14, I'm going to put a trail at $15 just to make sure we lock in that profit. Brendo?
Another one that just started trading again after a halt. SPRO was down way more than this at one point, but back to the upside here, guys, above 230 now on volume. They discontinued their lead drug this morning, or announced that anyways. So big puke here for SPRO.
All right. Yeah, so Neil's looking at some of the smaller ones. I'm trying to trade some of these bigger ones today. Facebook, I mean, pretty violent. We did get some out when we broke through 210, but then we got some out up here. So right now we are negative on it, but this is just a slippery slope. Like, we're going to have to wait to see what Facebook wants to do. I still think it's strong today. But again, if the market doesn't go up, I mean, strong stock or not, it's not going to go, right? So we got to watch out. We just went up to 211.40. That's where we wound up getting out because that was our first in. So we got a piece out there at 211.26. I still obviously think we go higher than this, but it's not really moving, in the best way right now, Facebook. You can see the market is trying to come back down. So I feel like these shorts is what's going to be the thing to do here today. So we may just start to lick some of our wounds on some of these longs. We've already cashed out a lot of money, man. Especially on this AMD trade. That was a really great one. I'm going to take a little bit more out in the 70s if I can on Facebook here. Okay, and there it goes, rips up. We do have a pretty decent position, so it's almost like a make or break morning spot right now for me. Let's see if it can go back up. Forget about our average price on this. Our average price is about that 211. We've talked about that. So hey, if it can get above 211, then we're cruising, and that's sort of where we'll take this stock if it gets up there. So there's 98.99. Here we go. We're waiting at 211.40. Hopefully that can go. That's right here again. So 211.40 is where we're waiting for this one. We have 30, 40, 50 cents of the money now on AMD. That's starting to go. And then NEO kind of faded back in, but again, I'm light on this name, so I don't even know what happened here to NIO. Maybe we got to look at this. Facebook, man, we got to get out. I mean, this market right now is tanking.
Look at the reversal. Like, we just took 13,000.
Yeah.
I just, Roku was booming and then just took me back outside, so I'm not going to give away the profit on it. If we can't hold 102 and we can't hold 13,000, it's going to be about the reversals for these shorts. Like, I'm about to get Lucid out as well. Like, Lucid, thankfully we took more shares out in front of 13, but then I did add at 19. We're about to take out this 1880 from the aftermarket. Once that's gone, you can pretty much forget about it. One name that's trying to hold up here, and I keep coming back to this one, it's Tesla. And you look at it just holding 895. If this rolls over, it could get really ugly really quick. And you guys make a good point. People were saying, why not just go long on OST? Need to have give me a break. You need to have like an out. Exactly. Like, it's not, okay, so I don't want to short it based on where it's sitting, but that doesn't automatically mean it's a long. You have to have an out before you get into the stock. And I don't know where you're wrong unless it's 350. So I need to find myself. I mean, a 420 break with a 4 stop is looking pretty appealing, but that's only since it reopened. Brendo?
Oil back to the upside here, guys, but note on ExxonMobil, they're going to apparently sell their Romanian affiliate for $1 billion. So nice spike there on volume for XOM back through 87.
Romanian affiliate. Okay, sounds good. So right now we've averaged into Facebook, but again, like it's not working long. It's just a matter of we have this out right here. So I mean, 208, 208.80 basically. I mean, the low of the day. Let's just see if we get back going up to the upside now. Obviously, we're going to need the futures to go. We're long at 210.30. We'll take a little bit more out if it starts to go back up. I mean, we are willing to hold this name. I mean, you've seen me trade this before, taking $4, $5, $6 winners, but at the same time, like we do have to have the ability to get out if we're wrong. So this will be about $1, almost $2 hit or so on the way down if we have to take this out. So we are watching it right now. Again, it's looking weak today, Facebook, so we may have to switch up our game on this one for sure. As there it goes, breaking down. So we're now out of a decent spot on this Facebook trade as it's just heading to the south side. Like, wasn't expecting this. The NASDAQ is trying to bump, but again, we did think the NASDAQ was going to this 13,000. It's just today went there a little bit quicker. We should have waited for that, but here it comes back down in. I still want to look at this. I'm still in it, but maybe we should get out. I mean, we're out of half right there on that break, but definitely something to watch right now. Now the market's starting to go back up here, but as you can see, Facebook's not really. So AMD is really the kicker there, as we just got out of that one, as that just ripped up basically to session highs, 90.25. So there we go. We just took $1 on AMD, but it's really Facebook, the name that bled us down here to 208. Like, we got to find a bottom here, or we're out of this name. It's just not working out. Facebook had a big move yesterday, not so good today, Brendo.
Another high flyer, guys, just halting VAX, VAXX. One that also popped up last week. I guess it was Thursday, Friday. This thing had a move. So VAX halted 20% here.
Oh, I remember you, Vax. But Tesla here, again, it tries to test that 900. Remember I said it ran away from 900 the first time? I know I'm still in the lucid long. It's barely not stopped me out. It's like 5 or 6 cents away from stopping out. But Tesla, again, another wick top up to 900. I'm not going to look at that one and get away from it. I just grabbed 890, 850. The last time it got through, it got by pennies above the first time. It got to 901 the second time. If it gets back into this like low 890s or low to mid 890s, we'll probably take some out and then look at 885. But as long as we're below this 901, it looks like it's a drop and then a pop and fail off of 900 that I will take a shot at. Maybe it's a chance. If this breaks out here and I'm not stopped out in Lucid, then I'm going to, we just got stopped out in Tesla, then I might be taking more shares of Lucid. If we actually get through this 905 on Tesla here and can start breaking back out, I still love that Lucid long altogether, and it never stopped out. So that could be a reason to jump back into some more shares because I did trim some at the high. I'm still in SOUN. It hasn't really held above this 15 area, so it seems pretty valid. It never broke 15, so no trailing stop. I want to see it below 14 before I put a trail in. Still looking like it's pretty good to the short side, just no follow through just yet. We've seen these halt down and then run a second time before, so you got to think about the fact that this move might not be over just yet.
Okay, so damn it. I mean, right now, you know, Facebook, we are kind of just, like I said, man, licking our wounds a little bit here. It's going to be a losing trade, but it's coming back in. We do want to get AMD long if it takes down 30. Ooh, we just missed that AMD long. What was up with that? There it is. Okay, came back in there. We wanted to get AMD long if it took out this high right now. I'm only going to hold this back to 90 right now, so like 40 cents worth of risk here for AMD. And again, maybe 90 is not enough, but that's what I'm going to do. If it does go up, that's that. So right now we are into this trade. It's AMD through the long here, through that top of 90.35. It took it out. It was that pre-market bottom. So we're testing this one. But again, like these names, they're so choppy. Like just sitting there holding that Facebook, letting it fall down, you know, and then finally picking up a bottom there. And it looks like right now, look, I mean, AMD, we took out the top, and now it looks like it wants to give a rough ride here. Okay, and here it goes right back to the top again. So this is just how wild these names are right now. Like, we were just out of the money 30 cents, and now we're flat and back and forth. So AMD, man, put me in the money 30 cents first, and then that'll be nicer, not out. Like, I feel like I'm battling everything today. It shouldn't be like this, man. It should be simpler, like yesterday. So right now, you know, a little bit in limbo here with some of these calls, guys.
Look at Tesla. Of course, I get out of Tesla and reload on Lucid, like I said I would, and then it's Tesla that ends up popping here. So it's right at that 910. Remember 910 on the 15-minute chart? Well, on the daily chart, you can see the 200-period moving average, but 910 was all kinds of resistance. It couldn't get above like 907. It kept trying to get to this level and then running away from it. This is now a huge extension in Tesla. We can get to 930 on a move like this. Man, I hate these breakouts. I should have just reversed it. I'm back into Lucid. Lucid, what we had originally, so we'll play that to 1950, and maybe this Tesla will give me a chance to do a dip buy, because I don't like paying up at 912, 913 here, not when I've already just added back into that Lucid trade. So some strength returning to the market. That could mean Intel short could come in any second now. I never got anything into Intel just yet, but that 45 level should be coming into play. No, it's not. It's still at 44.65. So it can't seem to get up there. I want to fade off of that 45 given what happened at the open, but it just can't even seem to get anywhere close to that.
Yeah, and I'm like sitting here thinking like maybe we just get out of this AMD now and then like regroup. And then when I do that, of course, it's going to rip up. But I mean, the market just tried to take out the 50 period there and missed. So that's one thing here for me that I am a little bit nervous here on this AMD trade. But we're still in it. We're long at 35. Maybe I just put a piece out to get out some at 30 if it can get out. But at the same time, look at this. Every single time it bumps up, man, it stops. Like it goes 5 or 6 pennies, then down like 10 pennies. You see? So here it is. It's probably going to break this 90. Yeah, it's coming back in right now as the futures are starting to fall. So we will take a little bit of a hit here, possibly on this AMD trade, especially if it doesn't go. But you know what? I'm going to take another piece out here if I can and just kind of be like, you know what? There it is. So there, okay, now it's coming back to the upside. I'm going to take another piece out if we can and then just cancel my 40s. I just nervous now. See, like I said, as soon as I get out of some, it comes right back in right now. But okay, AMD now, we'll sit at the 50s. Okay, here it goes. See if, there it goes. Like, come on, we were just here, man. AMD, whatever. We'll celebrate a nice little move to the upside, but we did take some out there as it was approaching close to that 90 level. Let's see if this one wants to make a move to the upside. Rivian still dancing. It did go down. What? It went down to 32 there. Okay, well, we should have bought that, but again, we're not looking at it. So Rivian, another name to look at there on the upside. I like it. Facebook starting to battle a little bit. It's having a little bit of issues here at VWAP, which is 210.10, down still 0.5% there on Facebook. But yeah, I'm just battling some of these stocks, man. There it is. We got a nice little fill there at 52. So let's see if AMD can, there it is, can make a nice little move to the backside here and make some of this money back.
Yeah, I just got a little bit more out there of Lucid. Look, I wish it was Tesla, obviously. You know, we said get out of Tesla, and if it broke out, we just get more shares of Lucid, which is what we did here when we took 19. I took some out 17s. I'm gonna, I'll probably get on 25 here like we did last time, and then look for that 35. Now remember, on the higher time frame, I still think if we continue to ride this to the upside, Lucid has not really broken the channel yet. Breaking the channel is 1950. So yes, first break good, second break in some ways a lot better. There's way more room to the upside if we get through 1950 on Lucid. So that's its own level and it's its own trade. But with Tesla booming here, I thought there'd be a pullback or dip. Maybe there won't even be, but Tesla, that is a nice wick bottom that got made there. So I think the EV names are going to be worth a little bit of a hold trade there. I want to go back to Microsoft because
holy shit,
nothing, like, we're not going to really see a huge move without Softy participating. Why does this not want to load? Oh, there it goes. Without Softy participating, and you are still seeing some weakness in Microsoft. Like the NASDAQ is 0.2 to the downside. The ES is green. Microsoft is down 0.8. I think the reason, like one of the reasons we're not jailbreaking here with Tesla booming, the market putting in that wick bottom, is we need Softy to start going. But it's at a good level. This is yesterday's high, at least before that crazy rally in the afternoon, that 282. If we can find a base here in Softy, some of the longs are going to start to work out. I got to find a couple more of them here after really only ending up in Lucid.
Look at Facebook. Like, of course, now we have like a $2 winner and change. That just went to 212 there on that move. So let's see if Facebook wants to come back in. We got out on the way up, out to some there at the 50 period. So it's going to turn out to be a losing stock for us. But again, monster move back up there for Facebook. Silly, like not silly, but you hit your spots and you got to get out, man. And it's like it just turned around. That's all. But what's been a name today that's been pure money has just been AMD. I mean, these longs are really, really working here for AMD. I mean, we can get out of some more here. Why not, man? We just went up to 68 right there. We took that out as well at 66. There it is, 80s, 90s now for AMD. I mean, AMD is 70 cents in the money and ripping. Facebook is $2 now, $2.25 in the money on Facebook. But we're negative on Facebook. We got hit down there, man. We did not average in enough. So we got hit down there, but now Facebook's returning to the high side. Two of the top names, AMD, the #1 name here on the sticky note, and we have destroyed destroyed AMD today. $91, man. We're long at 90.35. Our first longs were 89.30 down here on AMD. So a nice little long there. Neo, welcome to the party, my friend. Like, we just missed a long down there, man. 16.75. We were waiting. Look at where this name is right now. 50, like, look at these positions we have on. 75 cents in the money, AMD at day's high. Facebook at day's high is again as well, $2 in the money. Neo, 50 cents in the money. Rivian, hello Rivian. How does this look, man? 78 cents now in the money on Rivian. And if you're looking at the sticky note, man, they're all on here. So it's been a big day for us here. One more time today. Here's the sticky note. And again, AMD, let's go. Facebook, 204. That never hit. Rivian, 32.50. Neo, Apple, we got to look at as well. So let's just take a look at some more of these names, man. It's been a great day here. As Rivian, 33.50. Hey, man, we'll take this dollar and run on Rivian.
Yeah, we're about to get to the 1950. Rivian booming, Lucid booming because Tesla is now at 918. If you're looking for what is dragging the market up, Tesla is super strong and Microsoft is holding us back. So I've now adjusted. So make sure I have those two names got to be on your watch if you're trading anything that moves the market. I finally got into Intel in that last little bounce. It's still not through 45. Intel's not through 45, which means to me it hasn't broken out yet. Lucid has a secondary break approaching at 1950. But of course, got to take shares out in front of it. If we don't get through 1950, when the market is as strong, when Tesla's booming, then obviously that's going to be a rejection and we'll get back into this 19 area. So you got to take some profit on that trade and you got to go to Brendan to see what's happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, one of those days, individual names definitely giving you lots of opportunity, but overall the market not really doing much. We did test higher, came back in a little bit, but basically the same as what we saw early on in the pre-market this morning. If you joined us, the S&P 500 0.12 to the upside, the Dow back lower now, 0.15. Small caps did show some strength earlier, but starting to come back in as well. There's the NASDAQ, yeah, was dead flat there 2 seconds ago for the composite, the 100, 0.08 to the downside. A little bit of strength in energy and resource stocks today, so the TSX gaining here in Toronto, but as I mentioned, oil back to the upside. There's Western Digital on that Elliott note. Did test day highs right at the open, but got faded back in, back to 60 right now. Decent volume, though, up 12%. For WDC, Pfizer, on the other hand, did test this pre-market low and gave you a nice bounce off of that, but chopping around as well. Off earnings for PFE, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, you said Pfizer just choppy, and for some of these names, you wanted to make sure that they got to key prices. Otherwise, don't bother trading it. DocuSign, which I sort of said like the only thing you can trade off of is that 80 level. It got to 81. My alert was set for 80.75, and it was either a break of 80 for a short or a long in front of it. It never got there. So I'm not going to get, like, it had to break 81 and get closer to 80 to grab that long. It is now at 85, but you got to try to make those moves. And stop console wars, I understand. Like, yeah, Lucid, it doesn't necessarily need Tesla to move, but you can't ignore the fact that when Tesla reclaimed that 900 level, got through 01s, that was like the perfect time to get back into the Lucid trade in front of 19, because now you're absolutely booming. And here's Tesla getting to this 930. So you can't ignore these movers, right? The market's now going, and by the way, what is about to turn green or close to it? Finally, Microsoft. We talked about the one name that was holding things up a little bit here, and it was Microsoft. Now it's starting to get off the schneid, which means some of these longs can start to work out. That means I want to go back over to one that I had to take off, which is Roku, right? Like, we took off Roku, got stopped out. Now it's right back through that 105 area. It'll be a winning trade, but I wish I had gotten into this one again, just like we did for Lucid. So the key is on Microsoft. If it can get to green, which it hasn't done yet, I think you have a better chance of sustaining the rally.
Money. Wow. I said yesterday that we had AMD as a lot of the trades of the day. Okay, we're reloaded right now. Wow. I am like beside myself with this Facebook trade. We would be in cloud 9 right now if we still had our shares. We still have a small piece, but nowhere near what we had, man. Look at Facebook, Rip City, man. This is exactly what we talked about today. Look at this AMD chart. Look how this looks. Just straight to the upside, man. This is exactly the plays that we're talking about. We said AMD to $92. That's like, It started the day at 89, man. We have it written here, 92. There it is, 92.05, 92.06, $1.70. Like, if you guys, remember we talked about that trading yesterday, and if you want to trade like us, but maybe you don't have the same platform, you could buy options, things like that. Like, where would these be right now? 92 bucks from 89. Facebook, $4 now in the money and still pumping higher, right? This could also be your trade of the day, talking about some mistakes down here. You got to get out, right? It goes on to 208. Mistake is not buying more of these companies. Look at NEO right now, 1780. We marked down 1750 as our call as well. So we are working, man. We are working with fire right now. And yeah, 4 for 4 today. Big time movement. We're still negative. Like, it's unbelievable that I'm going to be negative on Facebook. It's just we punched out there. But still, man, it's just about being honest. Facebook to the upside right now, a monster move. We don't have many shares. There goes AMD as well, up to 92. We're touching out on that one. Today is once again another great day here for some of these calls. ARC up 2.5%. Things are rocking and rolling right now. Neil's got those small caps, some of them halting, some of them not. TDOC right up to 40 bucks again, man. You want to talk about Teledoc? Wow.
Oh, failed break? No. Oh, wow.
Congratulations, anybody.
Failed halt on SOUN. Fake halt. Fake halt.
So go to. I don't have it up.
The fake halt just got me out of it. I'm sorry, I'm all over AMD right now because AMD is at that 92 level.
Buddy.
So there was a fake halt on SUN at 18 or 14, and then it came right back into 17. So just be careful. It looked like it was a halt. It was like seconds away from doing so. But AMD is trying to hold. There we go. Now it's above. So I want to see how we trade when we get to this because this was not a clean move. Like 92 is the key price level. This was not a very clean move going into it. It tried to break down below 2 or 3 times. It's now attempting to make that breakout. If we can't sustain the break, 91.50 from last week is your obvious support area. But SOUN got me out with a fake halt to the upside and then puts in this crazy wick. I was holding through it. I didn't put the trail in at 14. I wanted to try to hold it for the home run, the last little bit. And now we have a top wick move to 18 bucks. That is another failed break. You can't look at a 15 because it only has a couple of trading days. But this is a failed top end break, which means it reestablishes the trade to the short side. If I get back in anywhere close to the price we had before, you just jump right back to the same thesis that we had. The other name that's still moving, Tesla just failed 920, which means it does make sense to take some more shares out of Lucid here. And it's not that Lucid, I know I keep saying, oh, Tesla did this, I'm going to take more, I'm going to get more in of Lucid, I'm going to get more out of Lucid. I'm just using that as a barometer, right? If Tesla slows down and we're trying to play a breakout on Lucid, then it's going to make sense. I'm going to take profit on the way to 20 anyways. So when Tesla makes a curl, it just makes more sense to get some more off. I added to the position at 1950. So you will see now my shares are only the 1950 break. There's no more 19s in it Lucid. This is now the second trade here, the 1950 break, working it all the way up to 20, hopefully. But I probably need this market to sustain the rally, Tesla to sustain the rally, and then we can get going that next level up.
Yeah, you talked about AMD. I mean, great. I'm glad that you're in it as well right now, as that is just ripping right now. Good to see. And then you talked about EVs as well. We are like $1.80 in the money AMD, $4 in the money Facebook, 80 cents in the money with NEO, and $1.10 or was now $1.05 in the money on Rivian. So we're going to go pretty huge here right now today, but we got to find some other names. I'm just looking at my sticky note: AMD, Facebook, Rivian, NEO, and Apple. So that's the other name here that I want to look at today. Apple with a nice move back up. You're going to see this 159. I'd like to be short Apple. The problem is I'm long everything else. That's not necessarily a problem. You can go back and forth on some of these names, especially if we understand that Apple's weaker than the rest, right? And so there goes AMD now below 92 bucks. So we're gonna have to watch out for that. We're literally in 5% of our position left. When this hit 92 and that was the trigger price for me, like that's where we just started cash out. Like I went there, got reloaded up, came back in and saw 92 and was like, what the hell? So that was a big, huge move back upside there for AMD. So all is well on that front right now. But Apple is the name that I'm thinking about weakness on, man. I mean, the market made a nice move up. So did Apple. Apple moved up. It moved up about $1.50, but it ran into some of that consolidation from the morning here, right? And so maybe it doesn't want to take down that 159 there. So you see yesterday, nice move up, but look where we stopped, kind of the same areas again. So Apple maybe made that top there at 158.70. So if you're looking to get short on something, I would think Apple might be might be the right name there. You're thinking softy?
Well, no, I just got into softy because Microsoft, it rolled over at pretty much 84 this morning, and the Nasdaq, and it was relatively weak. It's still negative. It's one of the few names that's still negative. So whether it's Apple or softy, the big names are kind of stalling this move. Those big two, Brendan.
Another big move here for ATVI, guys, off of the weekend comments from Berkshire. We talked about it a little bit yesterday. Didn't really do much throughout the day. It just held pre-market gains. But here we go. Back to the upside, rallying right now for Activision.
Okay. I'm trying to join you with this. I'm short softy now too. I don't know.
But
are we nuts to short softy? I mean, I never want to short it, but that high right there.
The Nasdaq's at resistance.
Yeah, I'm down. No, I'm down. I mean, I'm short right now, and I got decent shares. So, but it's just watching that 284.20 is going to be the level to look at right there. So, yep, here he goes. Yes, sir. 25 cents, Neil, in the money right away there for Microsoft. So for me, you're probably short a little bit better than that, but nice little move right now. We're going to sit on the bid and see if we get some more out. Nice win for us, man. Wow. After a disastrous morning, I've made back bang, a whole shit ton of money right now. As look at Softy, we just, Neil, as you did too, we just put this on, and there it is, man. One of my bigger trades right there. And I said I had a decent amount of shares. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Johnny Manziel is in the building. Hopefully I don't have a trading career like he had a quarterback
career.
Actually. Yeah, he's with Terrell Owens right now.
No, in that, I don't even know what it's called. It's that like inside arena fan league or whatever. I don't know, where you can vote on plays and all that nonsense. I see some highlights from it from time to time. Like T.O. causing jokes. He's 48 and he looks pretty good. But Johnny, I mean, he was a bit of a bust there. He was good in college. I did get back, SOUN, by the way, I did get back into this. I'm looking softy 282 for the last out, but this SOUN is trying to make a bit of a curl here. So it top wicked on the last of the shares. I just jumped right back into it. Now it's starting to turn back into the downside. So once again, same plan of action, 16, 15, 14 to that downside. Good news is AMD is actually holding up, despite the fact that Softy's pulling back in. I do like that. Although Lucid is failing that 1950 break, which makes sense, given that the market is starting to roll back over. But 282, that just comes from where we last consolidated. Bit of a choppy morning, but if you can find the relative strength and weakness, you can certainly make this work.
Yeah, and like I said, my strategy for Microsoft and for all my trades, guys, is and just like Arun was saying, right? It's like taking maximum, like taking big positions and then scalping them out, right? Like I just have to get better at holding. So right now, I only have 30% left of my Microsoft, as we just got a nice fill at 50 there. So now, obviously, it's a lot lower now, 25, 20. Like I didn't think we would have this kind of a winner right now, $1.30 in 2 minutes on Microsoft. So yeah, man, what a great trading day. Once again, this has been, man. And I feel like a broken record saying it, but whatever. Like this AMD trade was an absolute monster to the upside for me, man. Like an absolute monster. And then this short is like almost net-wise. I mean, I made more on AMD, but this is getting close, man, because we did put on some shares right there against that 80. So this is the thing. Like our trade was going to be about, 40 to 50 cents worth of risk. So right now we are in that $1.50 range right now. So we're 2-1, 3-1 right now on this Softy trade. Let's go Softy. There it is, Neil. There's your 282. So
I got it. I'm out.
Let's go. Congratulations. Yeah, good trade. Let's go. Congratulations. Money right now as Microsoft coming back in. What up, Ms. V?
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from Dominic Famularo bringing us another runner to the upside, ENVX. ENVX are now going to produce smartwatch batteries for global consumer electronics company, and that's the catalyst for that jump to the upside, ENVX, guys.
ENVX. Okay, there we go. Yeah, oh goodness. Yeah, that's a bit of an interesting one here. $12, $12.50. $12.50 looks like the big level here. Maybe even $13. I think that's going to be the big one. There was one name, just to quickly come back over. I did actually get Intel. I'm like, oh, the only thing short was Softy. But Intel in front of 45 also happened, right? So it actually got right up to 44.95. Now checking back into VWAP, but it's catching a bit of a bid at VWAP at 44.65. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this one out on that bit of a pullback. So, the AMD breaks 92, give it to 91.50. As long as we're above that, I'll hold on to AMD long. But the Intel short, It's weird because it's kind of like yesterday with Pinduo Duo and Alibaba, and sometimes that'll happen. Like one of these trades is likely to be obviously a lot better than the other, but as long as the levels are valid, if we're below 45, I'm short Intel. If we're above 91.50, then holding that 92 breakout on AMD. Neither one, you're not going to have a chance where both of them can be a home run. It's just not going to be very likely when you make that kind of a counter trend trade. As I said, I did get back into SOUN. I want to get some out in front of 16 and then 15 even. And then if you're still watching that OST, yeah, that actually failed that breakout. So there was no takeout of 14.20. I'll just make sure that I don't have at this point when it pulls this far back, I don't want to have a stop to break out long here. That's no longer valid. We'd have to see it consolidate, maybe find a better play. But OST does look like it's fading a bit here. 350 goes, it could get pretty ugly.
So, we've already cashed out of our AMD. Now we're only in 10%, 5% now. We were in 10. We took another piece out right there as it comes up to 87. I don't, like I said, I have a small piece now, so no worries on where it's going. But yeah, I feel like, we're short Softy. We're short a couple names that we like here. And there's really no point in holding some of this against us here. So we're going to get out again, not again, but we're going to get out of AMD there at that 87 level. And then just like Neil said, if it takes that 50, then, I mean, who knows what's coming next. So let's just use that as sort of our basis here for that 50. So that's what we're going to wait for here on AMD. It looks like it's going to take down that rate now to the downside AMD. But yeah, we just got out at 87. Again, I can't hold for everything. We've already gotten murdered on Facebook trying to hold that, and then that took us out at those lows, which sucks. So I just don't want to say anything to happen here to AMD, but it's dancing, man. I mean, maybe it holds this 91.50. What's up, Brendo?
Big move for HR in New York, which is a REIT, healthcare REIT. So apparently Welltower making a bid for this HR.NY, guys.
HR
like
block.
that's. Yeah, no, the first thing I think is like taxes, which we just had to go through here in Canada. I guess
those are always fun.
Well, it's always fun to do it. Like I was telling you, like I was enjoying Moon Knight so much on Friday that I decided to do my taxes while watching it, which might tell you a little bit about what I feel about that movie. But anyways, it was HR that you were mentioning there, Brendo, and of course it's on the New York, not the NASDAQ. And once you type in, oh, it's actually going to work for me there. Give me a break. No, it does. Yeah, there we go. It actually does want to load. It's already starting to come back in. So when you see a pop like this and then a fade, but the only trade that you've got is if it can reclaim like previous resistance into support. So you look at something like a 29 here and just say if there's any juice to this, then maybe you can hold a 29 level. On the 15, it probably looks a little bit better. So that's what I'd be looking for. AMD, the break is failed. If 92 can't hold 91.50, to me there's room from 92 to 100. But 91.50 was that level to the back end. It wasn't a trade until it got through 92. Tried to hold above it. That means I'm out of that and holding on to Intel.
Yeah. And that's part of why we were able to get out there of that AMD. I mean, that 92, we called the 92 level. That was a good level to get out, but also a good level to look at, for pushing longs. I mean, we don't know. There goes Microsoft. I'm still in a piece of this. I'm still in 20% of Microsoft. I like the name. We talked about that here again. So there it is, man. It just ticked down into some of these lows. Should have been sitting there. Stupid of me not to do that. 281.60 or so for Softy. That's a level that we should have looked at right there. So, you win some, you lose some. Let's put another bid down there. It's still $1 in the money. AMD's $1.50 in the money as, that went back up through 91.50. So maybe that's a level if it comes back down to retest that. Facebook's starting to go upside again as well. It did dip down. So Facebook's going to be an interesting name for me today. It's not as strong as I thought it was. Although we've seen some big moves, this move down scared me right there. So normally I'd be reloaded and averaged in around VWAP, but the way that fell and the way this is ripping, it's like, to me, it's a little unhinged here. It was a great trade yesterday. I just worried about the Facebook long here today. We'll look at that. Neo, we got a piece out. Now we're in a small piece of this as well. I keep saying small pieces because like when I'm going to get into something, trust me, I'm going to tell you. Just like when Microsoft, right? I mean, I said, and it's great because it's $1.50 and tanking right now, Microsoft. Let's put a bid out here. I'm not going to miss this one. Bang, there it is. Yes, sir, Microsoft right now, stacking that cash as, yeah, the bangs are coming fast and furious today to the downside for this stock. There it is, Microsoft. And that's what I said. Like I said, I have a decent sized position here on Microsoft. So I'm going to try to do that for you guys, try to give you guys, you know, my opinion on what stocks have higher chances, higher probabilities of going. And I'm going to do that with share size. As there it is right now, Microsoft testing these lows. And if you rewind it to 9 o'clock, I said names like Facebook have been reweighted. Names like Microsoft have not. So watch out for some more downside move here in Softy. That's why we're short, baby.
I just, the first trade in Chegg. You remember Chegg was down 40%? It's only down 31% now. So if you thought, no, it's not one of those, if you liked it short at 16, you like it short at 17, because I didn't trade it. I said it was a bounce off 15 because it failed to break. And until it gets close to this 1750 to 18 area, then I wouldn't touch it. It's just putting the curl off of 1750 right now. So I grabbed 17 or 16, whatever, 16.5 is actually ended up being the price. But this is the first leg. And we've seen these squeeze before. It's down so much that you've just got to wait for it to start to slow down. And we saw this with Robinhood, or Teladoc was a similar story as well. So I'm now going to check for the first time. I'll give it to 50s. If it doesn't pull back from here, then, you know, it's 18 and there's 20, Brendo.
We mentioned this Paramount Plus streaming to the downside this morning off earnings, back higher right now. Huge volume alert there, guys, on 29, I guess it was. Just broke 29 for Para.
All right, we're still we're working with AMD right now. I'm going to buy AMD 91s. We just flushed down there to 90.85 or so. If we can get a 91 print, we'll take that. So we're going to wait to see close to 91 anyways, not exactly 91. So don't hold it to me when you see me get long at 91.05, for example. Let's see if this is coming back in right now. So we're going to see it falls back in. We're not going to let this break VWAP. So 90.50 or so is going to be a level of concern for me. So again, like if you're going to learn something from the show, I hope you really enjoy the show. And if you do, like it, subscribe, all that fancy stuff, share it, everything. Go to our LinkedIn's, or not our link. Well, we have LinkedIn, but go to our Twitters, Instagram, everything like that. Like, subscribe, whatever. But also, is we have to have outs, right? We don't get into positions just like Neil's 91.50 there. Like now, look, it's at 91, right? So if you're holding something forever, and that's the problem with my Facebook trade, to be honest with you, is that if you're holding something forever, then you have to have stop outs, right? And so as stupid as this looks for me to get out there, it really stopped the bleeding, and we're able to make money again on other names. So watch out, you got to have some outs. There it is, man. There's the Facebook reload at 05, like I said. So there it is. We take the trade that we talked about. We are now long into AMD. Let's see if we can retrace back up somewhere around 60s or so would be nice. So AMD on a bounce back up. Let's see if it works from here. Our out, as we said, man, 90.50 on AMD.
And Tesla just came screaming right back into what was this previous 907 to 910 area that was at resistance. So it goes in. I take it when it hits the target area. Thank goodness we didn't actually buy that top. We hate buying tops. It's worked before on Tesla. And I did it the other day, and everyone's like, I heard, a couple people were saying, yeah, don't buy that breakout. And it ended up being right. The breaks have not been as good. So if you get an upward trend in Tesla, you're probably better off trying to catch a few dips here on the way to that upside. And it could not get through this 920, but it looks like it's having a chance here. We grab some 908s, going to take some. And if we can't get out of the range, 910, then I want to make sure that we're going sideways and maybe scalping a little bit, and then see if we can't get this to 15 to 20. That's going to be the big level for Tesla there, as it's one of the few names that looks pretty strong. It's only 0.8 to the upside. Remember, Microsoft's now down 1%.
Yeah.
The NASDAQ turned red. The ES is barely green. So that 1% on Tesla is actually relatively pretty good here. That's why I do like this one for now to the long side. If we can't hold 907, 900, 885, those are your support levels. And let's just hope we can hold those, because otherwise it might not be the best day for the market.
Yeah, okay. So let's just... keep going. I mean, I don't know if today's going to be a good day. We do have to talk about, okay, here goes AMD, hopefully back upside. We do have to talk about the Fed again. You know, they're going to be coming out tomorrow. They're meeting today. Tomorrow is the big day. So, hey, I don't blame anybody that if you're a little bit conservative today. Thanks for watching the show. Watch some of these movements. I like AMD. There's reports coming tonight. Remember, AMD, NVIDIA. I think it's just AMD tonight, but NVIDIA will be soon to follow as well. So,
Uber.
Oh, no, yeah. Uber, there's going to be more names tonight, but as far as the chips are concerned. Let's just, before I go to Brendan, I just want to check one name that we didn't look at today much. We talked about a WDC now that we're talking about this, Western Digital. Yeah, not much. They do get the activist move to the upside now, up 12%, but not much follow through on that name. I'm concerned with AMD, and there's one person that's concerned with nothing right now. It's Brendan. He's at the big screen, and it's small cap recap time. Ooh, let's see what RDBX is bringing him.
Hey guys, Jack, crazy mover from last week, if you remember, RDBX. 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row to the upside. Finally, gave you a bit of a fade after the move down that we saw late in the day yesterday. I was just using this little support and resistance channel from late in the day yesterday, which was about 825 and then 9 at the top. Doesn't get tested, but here we go. Day lows right now on RDBX. Failed a couple of times at that support from late in the day yesterday. That was enough for me at 8. So breaking back down through 685. 685 for RDBX. SNOA, my frustrating stock already of the day. Here's why. 4 and then 420 were the levels we were talking about just before the open. Gave you a nice flush all the way down to 350 right at the open. They lift it back up above 4. 150,000 shares showed up on the bid. That was enough to get me out of the trade flat. And then you can see this volume spike right here. They filled the entire thing. And it goes right back to day lows. So can't win them all, guys, on SNOA. Back to you.
That's good price action, though.
Yeah, no, wow. Some of these caps, small cap names moving like mad right now. Okay, let's take a little bit of pressure off of AMD. We're long at 94 right now. It's right back to 94. We do have a decent sized position on right now as we took that average in. So now, you know, we're trying to let this thing go to VWAP. It almost took us out. So whenever I see trades like almost taking us out, we smelt that there was a problem there on Facebook, and we were able to get out of that one a little early. I'm wondering if the same type of feels is here right now for AMD as it's had its monster move to the upside. You're still up. I mean, look, there it is. Let's go. Oh, I didn't get anything there. Oh, I was at 11s. How far did we go there, man? We went to 10s or so. We went to 08s. Just missed that move upside there on AMD. But hey, we have a good size position. So like I said, we're playing off VWAP right now. So this is not like, you know, small, like this is going to make our day here if this can go back up. And if we lose and drops down, then we'll just regroup, right? I mean, this is going to be essentially a 50-cent hit. So if we can get a 50-cent winner, that'd be nice. But here it comes back down. AMD not looking strong. That's why we took a little bit out right there. We are long this name, but willing to get out of it if it does fail one more time here, which it's looking more and more likely to do that right now. That, of course, is AMD. So watch out for this one breaking through that 60 level. We don't like that.
It's not winter. Someone in the chat saying it's winter over there because people are in like toques and jackets. The temperature sometimes in the trading floor fluctuates a little bit.
Randy is in shorts.
Randy's in shorts. A lot of times I'd have a sweater
Although they're
on.
jorts.
You're in jort? Oh, goodness.
Like, who do you know owns jorts?
Randy.
Randy is the jort man. So, but you know, anything looks good on that guy, Randy. Killing the jorts game right now.
That's very Canadian, by the way. But you got to keep Canadian. It's like the Canadian tuxedo, right? If you ever, you guys can Google what a Canadian tuxedo is if you've never seen it or heard of it. I don't wear them, but to each their own. Intel, there's always some relative weakness. I said when I got out of AMD that Intel would probably be still working for us, but it's bouncing off VWAP a couple of times here. I did reload when it put in a lower high, little wick top. That doesn't get through 45. That's not a wick top through resistance. That's actually one that fails at resistance, and then it bounced off you up. Now reloaded on the lower high. 45 is still the level. If it cannot get through that, it's going to remain a short. Microsoft, man, we talked about how if Softy couldn't hold, this market would be in a little bit of trouble. The ES is still green. The NASDAQ is back down to that 13,000 level, and it's being dragged down by Microsoft. So if you're not watching Softy, you're probably doing yourself a little bit of a disservice if you're trying to follow the markets. Relative weakness in Baba, 102, big failure. Here comes 100. If we don't hold 100 on Alibaba, things are about to get real ugly.
Oh, damn. AMD with a nice little move to the upside. So what does your boy do? Let's take that profit as it just rips up to the upside. We just got multiple outs there at 10s, 12s. Like, I don't know where that came from, but that was like savior right there as that just like out of nowhere ripped up right there. So I don't know what just happened to AMD. Like, that went to 91.25 there. So yeah, AMD is on fire right now to the upside. Wow, big time movement there. That's why we got out. Like, when you see something go, like, look, here it goes again right now, AMD. Here, like, look at this move. Let's go, AMD. Yeah, buddy. We are getting elevated right now as the NASDAQ flying right here. Ooh, man, this is a good day right now. NASDAQ starting to go back up to the upside. And do we have AMD? Yes, we do. AMD is a monster trade for me today, looking like it wants to continue to make moves upside. Like I said, man, we put on those shares, we put on that look, and now AMD cashing out, just like Microsoft right now. What's up, Brendo?
Blue Apron, guys, we mentioned yesterday in the pre-market, had a nice move back to the upside after getting absolutely killed over the past few months as well. 15% here, huge volume spike there through 450 on their turnaround plan, and the CEO buying up some more shares for APRN.
Ooh, baby, we know that stock, Blue Apron. I want to go back to that that OST still making some big moves there, but I wanted to go back over to Chegg, which is trying to make some power moves to the upside. It's still putting a bit of a curl on. There was this little wick. Remember it said 1750? It just put in a wick top to 1750, but is testing it again. So a lot of times you see that wick top, you'd be adding to it, but it still is yet to consolidate lower. If it consolidates lower, that's a place to add. If it does not do that, then you just maintain your stop through 1750. That's not a stop, it's 18. I've said this over and over again. By the way, I'll say it again. That's like I'm crossing up to 18. The stop is at 1750. No issue saying that. It's just, I mean, you see the line in the chart, it indicates the limit price on the order, not the actual stop price. Unfortunately, that's just how it's coded, and that's the way that we do look at it. Going back over to where is it? That RDBX. I know Brendan was trading that one, but do not sleep on these day 2, day 3, day 4, whatever it might be. It's now catching a bid off of $17. $7 I should say. It is worth noting this had support down at 6 and 7 on the way down the first time through. So if it is able to catch a bid, it's very likely to be somewhere between the 6 and 7 even. If it's going to be here and it holds, then it's worth a shot for a secondary push. But 8 is monster resistance on this name. There goes Chegg through 1750. If it failed breaks, I'll add. Otherwise, waiting for that to make another top. Sat it out till it got to 1750. I'll be patient enough to catch the next top.
I mean, this is unbelievable. Like, I'm so glad to be here with you guys today. Look at AMD, man. We just took another 30 print there. We are long on this name from time, man. 90.80. Do I want sticky keys turned on? Hell no. There's a nice little move back up there to the upside here for AMD. Great trade on that one. I don't know, man. We're just like sitting here trying to figure out what's our next move. Neo, possibly something if we do come back and test. I don't know if there's anything else that we need to be looking at right now for you guys. Put it in the chat. I am not reloading Facebook. We've talked about why there. I just like... Again, maybe if we get back down to 209 and change, I was really nervous. Like, my biggest hit today, like, if I didn't have Facebook, we'd be cruising. Again, we're red on one name today, and that is FB. So we're still red on Facebook, man. But we'll try to get that back. I'm just waiting for the right time to strike. And whenever that is, we will. But right now, $2.50 move here. Look at this Microsoft trade, man. We put on shares, and we got that. So that's a good one. And by the way, AMD now, like I said, man, this is just a monster move. AMD, another move to the upside right there. Just tried to take out 91.50, putting us nicely into the money here. So, yeah, let's take another piece out. Brendo, give it to us, buddy.
Another one that went crazy late in the day yesterday, BTTX, if you remember. If you joined us in the afternoon, this thing ran up to 220 and then closed at 2. Just popping up on volume again, so worth a note here, down from yesterday, but still. Starting to go. Let's get a quick check here on how things in Europe are shaping up. Miss V's watching what's going on over there. 1 hour left in the day over there, Miss V. What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are trading higher today with banks among top performers. French bank BNP Paribas is up more than 4% after posting better than expecting 19% jump in net income. Back to you.
Yeah, everyone expecting half a point move for the Bank of England as well this week. Back and forth we go, unfortunately, here for U.S. markets, guys. It's been a little choppy so far.
Oh, give me a break, Biogen. Yeah, of course. We're talking about Biogen and then saying, yeah, look at the bounce.
Yeah.
It actually had, look, it bounced off of, no way that's exactly $200. That is exactly $200. I mean, yeah, basically to the penny, and now it's up at 213. I only say that because people are asking about Pfizer, which is also making a bit of a run. Not as impressive as Biogen's run. They're both 3% to the upside, but the way that made a bounce off of 200 is just nasty. If you're looking for levels on Pfizer, I don't think it's all that complicated. $50 is psychological, but really, just go right back to last week. It could not get through 51, and forget about 50. On the way downside, 49.5 was certainly a big level. So I look at those two much more than I would look at 50 to the upside. But both those two names looking relatively strong. If you're looking at what's holding the market up, that ES, definitely stronger than NASDAQ today. Yesterday, it was the opposite. It was the ES that was to the downside. But you're seeing here, like some of these biopharma names looking pretty strong here, both Pfizer and Biogen. I'm going to kick myself because we don't usually trade Biogen. Brendan brought it up, and I actually liked the long, and then, of course, just happened to like Roku and Lucid and a few others a little bit better. Intel still valid to the short side of the trade. If the market rolls over, this is probably the one I'll have all day long. I still needed to get down to 1450 before I take any more shares out, then 44.50, then 44 quarters, and 43 is a big line in the sand that goes back like 5 years on this stock.
For Intel, yeah.
It's
Intel,
like a 5-year, quintuple.
It's been trapped.
It's a quintuple bottom or something like that over 5 years.
Unbelievable. Yeah, there's a lot of names that are starting to push some of those levels for sure. Yeah, Intel's been, well, we talked about Intel. Okay, AMD, again, fell back in. Don't know why we weren't sitting there. I mean, it falls right to VWAP. We should have been long down there, but we're not. So embarrassing one more time, but hey, we're still on this name. As there it goes, Rip City one more time, right back up to the upside, man. Like today, to say, that some of these movements today haven't been great. I mean, there's been some amazing moves if you're trading the right names. I mean, I think that's part of what we're doing, right? Find our watch list, find our sticky note, man. Join us. We have a lot of fun every single day here on the show. So, and I just hope that everyone's having fun with us because I sure know that we are. And again, thank you to everybody for watching and for just for all your support as we go. I mean, I like to share some of the knowledge that I've learned over 21 years. And I think that right now, the biggest thing would just be relative strength and weakness, right? I mean, it's just like look, my top stock is AMD. Shortly behind that's going to be Softy. And I mean, one's a long and one's a short, and they're both tech names, right? So again, we're out. We only have 10% of Softy left as it's starting to rip back up to the upside. AMD is a monster. Facebook's been good for us lately as that's starting to go as well. But check out where AMD is right now. Look at this monster move back upside. Like if we can get back to 92, then what, man? We're cooking seriously with gas on this name. This wants to go. There's earnings tonight. We're going to find out what they're all about, but this is what I mean. Trade the right names and you should be okay. I think we've done a good job with Rivian because again, I don't have a big piece left, but I've ignored it down here and I don't know why. So we got to look at this position down here. The next time Rivian comes to 32, we definitely need to buy that name. So we're going to watch out for Rivian. Next time we're down here to 32, we're back. And I'm green on the day despite getting absolutely murdered on this Facebook trade. So really happy with the way this is going, man. We've made a lot of battle back after our first trade. So a big move there. Let's see where we go from here. But yeah, wow. Big movements today. Couldn't be happier with some of the trades we have. Missed a lot, man. Like I feel like missing that was key. Missing that AMD reload, like as if I'm not even looking at it. Should have been reloaded right there. Missed it. But yeah, a lot of good names here. And I apologize if I'm not looking at them all. But like honestly, I'm trading big shares, trying to make some money for you, and the calls are coming in. So far so good, man. Yesterday we were 6 for 6. Today we screwed up on Facebook.
We screwed up on Expedia. It was like I was trying to bring up the daily chart last night in the show, talking about that thing below 175 has some trouble, and it took out that bottom. Yeah, it couldn't hold. Well, obviously, you can see now it couldn't hold. It's down 12% at 150. 150, which that came way faster than expected. Thank you for reminding us, Randy, about this stock. But look at the daily. Your 150 level on the daily chart. And if you miss out on the short, we talked about this last week. Like if you miss out on the opportunity for one side of the trade, just take what's in front of you. I did get into BABA, by the way, in front of 101, so you'll see that short on board. But now it's all about this 150. If it can hold this bottom, even a slight bounce back with the ES running is going to make some sense here. So once we break 154, break back up 154, the bottom end of this consolidation. I'm going to take this off the low, play it to 56 and then to 58, and then maybe it has a chance at 160. But wow, Expedia, that came in rather quickly. 12% to the downside. Brendan?
Another one getting that treatment today as well. BLBX, Black Box Stocks. We talked about a little bit yesterday. They finished apparently their integration with E-Trade. That came out yesterday in the pre-market. And then it rallied all the way back up to 5. And here we are now back to 3 and 320 again for BLBX.
For which stock was that?
BLBX.
Okay, so not LVS, they're Las Vegas Sands. Oh, wow, okay, now the market's trying to come back in. We just took out, so now we have a small 10% left on that bump up. Remember, I was like, wow, AMD. There it is, man, it takes it out. We see some top wicks there at 63, so we got a 48 offer there. It was at 46, I think I just hit it out. Yeah, 46, excuse me. 46 half out right there on that name. So, so far so good there on AMD. We'll wait for the reload. This time we will not be foolish. Hopefully we won't anyways. And we'll sit right here and see if we can get another bid here for AMD. Because remember, we do have a drop-off spot there if we do take out that 50 level. So there is something coming here on AMD today. So watch out for that. We will put another bid down here like in the 80s in case that can come through. Other than that, I mean, we're kind of just resting on some of these positions. Microsoft did make that move upside. Yeah, if the market wasn't screaming, we probably would have shorted that. But again, one of my top stocks today is the short of Microsoft. So we're going to watch out for that name here. If it does get back up to 282.50 or so, I believe that could be a short. And then Rivian's right down into this area that we want to dance with again. Those wicks are 31.80, 31.90. So Rivian right there. I don't know why it keeps fading out, which is kind of sucky because maybe the news is already baked in here and not as great on that front as maybe Rivian shareholders were hoping for. So let's wait to see what Rivian does down there at the bottom, 31.90. Small buy now I think is worth it here to see if we get a move back to 33.
And I mentioned BABA. Hopefully we'll be able to floss this one off if it takes out 100, but lower highs across the board. I missed 102. You know, last week 102 was so good a couple of times, and I was able to get it every time it did this last week, but we'll have to join the party when we just rolled over at 101. I mentioned getting into that one while I was keeping my eye on Expedia, which I do not want to miss, by the way. That's getting back toward those lows. If we crack 100, this is a hold. And if the market turns red, this is like, it's like Intel. I just kind of want to be in this one all day long. Or all night long, like, I don't know why Lionel Richie just popped into my head. But anyways, Expedia, it just got uglier. So this had a chance to consolidate and break. If this market goes, remember, 150 is the level here. So it can take out the bottom, which is 152, which it's doing right now, and still not get through 150, which would give you two things. One, it would give you a failed break through the low of the day at an absolute low, and then would hold support at 150. This is why I always zoom out on your chart so that you can see that we haven't broken through these lows down here. And as long as that's the case, there still is a chance at that long. And in fact, it would have possibly trapped some people that might have been going short, just looking at a 1 or a 3 minute and trying to short that bottom. 150 still holding, which makes this valid. As a matter of fact, we get back through these lows, and I might just take the long off of that 150. The risk to reward just becomes very, very enticing at this point, but it has to set up first. We either bounce off 150 first, or we reclaim the low of the day without breaking 150. One of these two things has to happen.
Yeah, that's I mean, that's why I'm looking right now. What would be my out on Softy anyways? Has to break at least, oh, sorry, I'm on Neo here. I want to look at Softy. Yeah, I was thinking about shorting here up into that 283, but the thing is, now the NASDAQ right here, as you guys can see, is starting to fade out a little stronger now. So I don't want to take Softy kind of in no man's land right here. It has to be near something in order for me to dance with this name. So we'll wait on Softy a couple more minutes here. If it does, you know, we're going to go to Sector Watch right now to Brendan. So if Microsoft comes into the 25, like, you know, 282.20 area, that's where we were waiting for another short. So if Microsoft can get going, that's where we're waiting. And AMD is also near reload level, and I don't have an order there. So we've got to reload this one on AMD as it's coming back in. So we'll look to get a bid out. Now, we're right here. We're actually in the 70s on AMD, but why am I even in the 70s? What does it matter here, what we get? All right, let's go over to Brendan as I can sit here and talk trading all day. AMD, we're looking for the reload long. We're looking for the reload short on Microsoft, but it's Brendan at the big board. Let's go.
Hey guys, yeah, a bit of a choppy session so far, but positive, 0.25% right now for the S&P 500. A ton of individual earnings. I was just actually reading there's still 150 S&P 500 names to report earnings this week, so lots to come from the S&P, including IPGP, WDC obviously not earnings, but up on that activist move. Hasn't really done much, just gap to the upside, holding the gap right now. Where are we here? IPGP was an earnings name, same with MPWR. So tech stocks. Among the leaders so far, along with the healthcare group CTLT, 12.7% in the biotech names leading the way. But pretty much all of these are positive on the day, as are the healthcare equipment makers back in positive territory as well. Banks, we said, ahead of the Fed. Banks showing a lot of strength here. Financials, basically the entire group here, positive on the day. ROK over here in the industrial sector. Downside today, their forecast not good. Earnings were in line, but forecast pretty bad, so 13%. CMI and GNRC both positive on the day, offsetting. And energy, guys, very, very strong for energy right now. Oil back to the upside from the pre-market, so energy among the leaders. Back over to you.
I love oil. No, it's energy certainly looking strong. BOVESPA just took out 100, so hopefully it's not one of those. Like, I don't want the market to do this, but if we take out 13,000 on the NASDAQ again, or sorry, well, we bounced off, well, okay, we kind of held the level. It broke and then came back. But if we get through it again and then take out the lows, I want to be holding all day long. Right now it's Expedia. Like, I'm holding only now Intel and Alibaba to the short side. You can see, like, the longs that had worked that we're able to take some profit on. Roku is out now. Lucid, that's now out despite the original break working out. Microsoft down 1% is at the low of the day. BOVESPA just broke the 100. I'm looking for Expedia. Like, this is one where it's down so far. And thanks, Randy, for reminding us about this. Like, look at this rollover. But you missed it. I missed it. And now we're seeing if it can hold 150 on the daily. It's still valid in front of this price level. One of the plays, the other way to make the play is just to simply play it off of 150. I thought we'd be getting it, retaking the bottom. But this break is now valid down to 150. Yeah. So the play would be long in front of 150 as opposed to, long 53 or 54 and give it to low. This is taking out that bottom. The play would be here, simply grabbing it in front and just making sure that we take it out. If it breaks 150, I don't want any piece of this trade, but I just jumped in there. And we'll see. If it can't hold 150, you don't want to get stubborn about this. Just because it's down 13% doesn't mean it can't go lower, right? We've seen this before.
Yeah, for sure.
From any price, the stock can go up or down. It doesn't matter how far it's traveled in either direction before it gets there.
Okay, so unfortunately, AMD did take out that 50, and we had to get out. It's fine. It's still a big-time stock. But 84 there, average 63. Our average price was like 75 or so, and we got out there 50s. So 25-cent hit here on AMD, but I do want to reload this name. So I'm not done yet with AMD. So let's see if we can get a reload here, kind of like breaking VWAP here. If we can do that, then we'll go back up to the upside. The market is taking a dump down, so maybe we don't get into more AMD, but it's going to have to take out some levels to convince me to get back in. And then unfortunately, we didn't get the reload. Microsoft didn't reload itself back down to the upside. But if you were here early, you heard me mention that Microsoft was going to be the name to short today, no matter what the market did. So there comes Microsoft back down in. It's probably my best trade today just because it was easy. But AMD, I'm most proud of those trades. And then Facebook, I think for a learning moment there, it was just not strong. And all of a sudden it went to the upside. But right now, Facebook, look at the relative weakness there. I'm still in this, but again, it's very, very small position here. I was just waiting to see where we would go. But right now we're back near these bottoms again. 208's going to break on Facebook. So you got to watch out here. The NASDAQ is basically just collapsing right now. Down to lows again here, trying to test that 13,000. That's right where we're at. Watch out for that low of 12,970 again, which isn't that bad. We were up 1.8% yesterday. Today we're only up down 0.5. So some room to run both ways here. Let's just hope that something can work out for us. Oh, Rivian, we had a keystroke error there and somehow got out. So we got back in. Rivian, we gave back the money we made on this long right now because of this move back down. So we meant to get out on a break back down below 50 here. That's about to happen. So Rivian, it looks like we're right back down. The call that we liked on Rivian was 32.50, which was right here. But now you're down and actually negative on this name. Remember, they're still not making making money. They got that good news on the plant from Georgia, but for right now, Rivian getting beat up on this market move to the downside. So a couple more pennies on this and we'll give up the ghost. We don't have to be right on everything. I mean, we talk about being wrong all the time. And it looks like here on Rivian, you take down that 50 and we don't have a problem getting out of this one. We normally like Rivian short, but today down. Yeah, there's 13,000 breaking right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, the only long I have left is Expedia because it's off of that 150 on the daily chart. So I'll probably take a long like that every time. It's now just down to Intel. I just got some out at 44.50 there. It tested and couldn't get through 45. That level's valid. BABA's still through that 100. And OST is not dead yet. So some of you guys, this chart's ridiculous. When I don't zoom in on this chart, it looks ridiculous because of what happened a few days ago. It's now halted to the upside again. So I'll go to the 3. So you can see there was a failure at 4. It held 350 after all. And now it's boom. So there was the 420 breakout, which I canceled the order. Once it traveled down here, I didn't want to get the long for exactly this reason. I don't like a breakout trade that runs right into a halt band because if it rejects that halt, you're kind of stuck long at the top. But kudos to anyone that had the 350 long. It's indicating a 440 open, which is exactly flat. If it opens flat, that's not very exciting. If it breaks 450, that is exciting, obviously. So one long left, BABA. Intel, watch out for Microsoft because if it doesn't hold the lows, you kind of know what's going to happen here with the overall market. 13,000 and Softy at the low of the day at the exact same time. Well, the low of the day is not 13,000, but 13,000 while Microsoft is at its low of the day is definitely a bit of a tipping point for the overall market. And if we get below this price, you start thinking about where do we go on Softy. 276, 278 are the two levels of support here. There's a lot of room to the downside. And 270 is like a God mode level. I don't think we're getting there. You're not getting there today. Forget about that. You maybe think about that level tomorrow if the worst case were to happen, but not today.
Yeah, no, I'd take $13 winner on that, but I don't think that's going to happen right now. We're holding on Microsoft now, man. Look at this trade. Like I said, good candidate here to the downside. We talked about how it hadn't really repriced yet and still has to break lower. So there you go. Wow. Again, and this is about having a crystal ball, right? If you have one, then great. You're probably still holding your full load here. But Microsoft to the downside, it was such a good trade for me that it happened so fast. And then now we're really understanding that this is accelerating pretty big time now to the downside. Out of our AMD, which thank God for that one, man. Good trading today on AMD. Like I said, it's just right now you're coming back into some of these levels. If the market wants to fade, we got to wait for 89.20 to come through. If that can come out, then that's fine. But right now, that's sort of what we have to wait for if we're going to go long. We don't need to be picking tops and bottoms right now because there doesn't appear to be a bottom. Let's just wait to see where it is on this name. That's what we're going to look for. And then what else? Rivian broke. So, broke but came right back there on that move. That was 44s. We could punch a long here on Rivian probably and just use that 44 as our out. The risk kind of makes sense here on that Rivian trade. So we'll go small there, punch a little bit long, 61, not a big position, but it might have just made that bottom on me there. So we'll see. 31.45, it did come back in there. So got out, back up, back in, and now testing one more time. So we'll take a small spot, and if it breaks through 45, then we're gone on Rivian. But maybe we can get a nice 40-cent move back up here to the 50 period, and then maybe back to VWAP. So let's hold on to this Rivian trade, make some of that money back now as we punch along. Now 10 cents in the money, but let's see if it goes a little more than that. We're going to need it.
So that 450 on OST opened back up, and I said it's only interesting if it gets above 450. It put a failed break, opens up at the 440 we talked about. Then it puts a failed break at that 450 level. Failed break means short the first key level, which is exactly that halt price, which was 440, that's exactly what I ended up getting. Well, actually ended up getting just slightly below that 39 level. Took some out in front of 420 because that's a previous high, and I'll go so again because you've also got that halt price at 405. So going to have both a couple of outs in front of that, and then we're going to look back into VWAP. There's no hold it for 350 here. This is still a bit of an upward trend with double barrel support at 350. So this retracement trade is into 410 and then into $4 and then jump out of it and make sure we get out. If it does hold 4 to 420 and then take out that high, there's room to the upside. You cannot forget where this came from. OST, right? Just go back a couple of days to this ridiculous looking chart and see that $11 is a pretty key level. You have to get through 5 and 6, but there's so much room to the upside on OST that you don't want to get stubborn. Even if the short works for the scalp trade, this thing can open up in a hurry, but it's got to get through and hold that 450 for the breakout, I think.
All right. Oh, man. Yeah, just honestly, guys,
wow.
It's been a good day. We only have 10 minutes left in the day. Ooh, look at Starbucks today. I don't know if Ms. V traded Starbucks or what, but down to $73 today. What a nasty move Starbucks has had over the last little while down here. I mean, it's right back to where we were yesterday. Is that yesterday? No, 2 days ago. Down here, 73.37. This might be a name that you're looking at here of a 1 minute chart. There really hasn't been any relief in this name on this move down in the market. On a daily chart, it looks even worse, man. Yeah, wow. This name might have to get bought by me here. The last time I bought this name was in the 50s, and we're out of it now. But wow, it's coming right back in here. Starbucks, I believe they work, man. It's just China is such a big part of their story that maybe right now that's sort of what's leaning on them. And I know there's some other labor unions and stuff like that that's weighing in on Starbucks. But more work needs to be done here as Starbucks right now bleeding to the downside. Brendo.
Hey guys, yeah, Currency Time brought to you by the Small Exchange. They're making it easy, guys, so easy to get involved with futures trading. If you're interested, check out smallexchange.com. You can use the QR code at the bottom of the screen. No PDT rule, less capital required. Check out smallexchange.com. If you were with us yesterday, speaking of the Small Exchange, we talked to Frank Caberna about the US dollar back to the downside here, 0.5% for the first time. He's been saying he was short this for the past couple of weeks. So finally, we're seeing a little bit of a move on the US dollar back to the downside ahead of what is to come tomorrow. Interest rate hike, obviously, from the Fed. So US dollar negative, that means a lot of these going to be in positive territory. Australia raised their interest rates overnight, so 0.8 to the upside for the Aussie right now. You can see back to 71 for the Aussie. That's dragging New Zealand along with it as well. Russia, yeah, it's been, I don't know, a couple weeks straight back higher for the Russian ruble. 4% again today. Bitcoin, though, was positive if you joined us in the pre-market this morning. Back to the red now, guys, for Bitcoin. Back to you.
It got green. Oh, it's still at that 38 level. It's been, that
Bitcoin.
38 level is just kind of like, sideways. It's not really doing anything, which, with the volatility in the market, it's not the end of the world if it just goes sideways in the midst of what we're seeing here. I actually don't mind that. OST got the next leg out at 410, and we'll get it all out somewhere between. I'm waiting wait for 350, so it'll be between 370 and 390, if it can even get there. Let's keep that in mind. However, the last long for myself, anyways, that I had on was that long in 161 in front of 150 on XPD. Just took it out, so there was no bounce there. Now just hanging on to BABA short. It went $1 in the money, but it's now back above. Oh, no, sorry. No, it's not back above 100. It's at 99.90, but it's very, very close. Intel is still falling. So, overall, the market maybe holds up. 13 is still battling on the NASDAQ, and the ES hasn't really broken the lows. There's a decent chance you could just be range bound off the ES low, and 13 gets reestablished, and then we don't go anywhere today. And if you really look at this overall market, yeah, this is the NASDAQ here. Okay, it tried to take out the top, didn't get through yesterday's high. If it holds 13,000, then you're trading inside of the range, which usually in front of the Fed tends to be what happens. So at this point, play off of your support and resistance. If they're still valid, then they could be good for the rest of the afternoon.
I'm about to tell you guys about shorting Facebook possibly here, but again, it's just been so violent that I'm not, so I'm looking to short this right around here, man, 210, and then looking to get out if we take out VWAP. So, we still need it still needs to go back up. So let's not, we're nowhere near going back up here for Facebook, but, we could get near this 210-ish. I think that's worth a short. We're long right now, so we got to get out of the long and then put the short on for Facebook. But I'm looking at that. And again, we identified just a nasty chart here this morning and what happened to us on that. As here we go, right back up to the upside. This is going to give us an opportunity to get out, I think, anyways, here for Facebook. I don't want to look at AMD. That's touching 90. But here we go. At Facebook, yeah, if they can get even just a 50 right now, let's just end our trade here on Facebook. It would be, I don't even consider this a win. It doesn't matter. It's 30 cents. really irrelevant here. Actually, let's go a little bit higher than this. Let's go to 2.0. Let's go right to where VWAP is. Sorry, the 50 period. 209. Yeah, see, and then it just faded back out. So maybe 50's fine after all. Let's just go to 50 and get out if we can. This name just wants to go down. We should have got out and shorted right there on that little pop up. That was a little silly. It does go to 50. Let's not make the mistake again. Let's go over to Miss V and see what earnings are on board, I believe.
All right, 5 minutes to go, guys. Let's get you set for what is to come after market tonight. And before the open tomorrow, we talked about a few of these. Make sure you're back with us at 2 p.m. We'll get you ready for aftermarket trading.
No, you're right. It's always one day after the other.
Okay, Starbucks is coming. Neil thought Uber, but I think it's Lyft first.
Lyft first,
then Uber. I'm pretty sure. I don't know why they do that.
Airbnb, man. So Expedia's down 13%. Airbnb's down 5%. It's getting dragged down. So Starbucks, Airbnb going to be really big. Moderna should be at least interesting. But man, like those two in the middle. After seeing what happened to Expedia, Airbnb is going to be. If you're not watching that stock, I think there's going to be some fireworks and maybe a chance to pick some up later on in the week. Although you don't buy in front of Fed, no matter how much it falls. I don't think you do that, but. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Airbnb beats. I think it's worth an options play there. So timestamp this 10:55 today. I think Airbnb is going to beat and guide forward. So better guidance forward. So let's see if that happens. Tomorrow, I like Airbnb. I'm not in position, so I am not talking up my book. I don't own any Airbnb shares, but I don't think it's a horrible time to do that. All right, I guess it's what day it is, and it's Miss V. What up?
Hey guys, it's a very busy morning so far. I hope you're doing great, and again, more opportunities to come today. So please join Prad and me right after. And of course, make sure you like this video for all the effort, information, and just the joy that Trader TV Live brings to you. So smash the like button, and happy National Chocolate Custard Day, everyone.
What was yesterday? Was just truffle day? Because
it was only truffles.
It was only truffles. Yeah. Okay, so
of which I had none, obviously. But
today's chocolate custard.
Custard, yeah.
Because custard typically is not chocolate, or maybe it is.
Well, you can do
both, like a mousse.
You can do I'm saying you can do chocolate. Chocolate's just the best for everything. I mean, like, what are we talking
chocolate
about?
Is good. I like the dark almond chocolate.
Yes.
Almonds with dark chocolate is what I'm trying to get at. Brendan.
Now I'm hungry.
Chocolate?
Always. We were just debating on whether or not truffles were chocolate, but I think they're typically a chocolate type of treat as well.
Truffle? Yeah, for a treat. Yeah. I mean, I like to shave a little bit on some pasta.
You can shave truffles on anything.
Yeah, I like it on the pasta. Anything. Butter,
matter.
Truffle butter. You know.
Oh my gosh! There was a story. We were at Splendido one time.
Yeah.
And like Victor, the chef, he comes. It was when Amar was there.
It was like probably the biggest.
And he stands there and he's talking to he's talking to our friend. He's shaving. You know, truffles when you shave, it's like that's not cheap, right? And he's just sort of talking about the dish, doing this on Buddy's plate. It's like, are you crazy?
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing here? And then of course it's because he's friends with the chef, anyways. But that stuff ain't cheap. Truffles, but so delicious, so good.
We had, what was it, black truffle? We had that guy come on about a year and a half ago. The place smelt for days in here. We were just like, wow. So maybe we could find that highlight at some point. But truffles.
I'm like licking my lips here.
A
so
tasty treat. Truffles. If
I got like my apple. This is what I get to have as a snack before we have lunch. We didn't see what lunch was, by the way. I didn't check in. I got some cashews.
It's green curry chicken, but again, I'm on the salad. You're on the salad now. Come over to the dark side there. Yeah. Okay. So far, so good today, man. I mean, everything's been cruising. Thank you for watching. It's been a monster show. The NASDAQ is getting elevated now. I can't believe I just talked about 209.50 on Facebook. We have a small piece, but now it's breaking these lows. So Facebook right now, we just talked about 209.50 and it's down to 208.50. So that's how fast these stocks can move, man. Dollars at a time, not pennies anymore, as we get ready for Fed tomorrow. So thanks for watching us today. I think we could test a 208 long here, but it looks like Facebook wants to crack that lower. So good day, man. Couldn't be happier. Wow, just hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and you're about to get thrown over to even a better show. So, Trader Prad's in the building. Ms. V's already getting over there. Should be fun. We'll have some more guest traders come on that show today as well. Lots of big trading happening everywhere, guys.
Yeah, it might be cold in the studio, as noticed by a cushion, the hat there, the toque. But the market heating up. But you've got to play inside. My hands are a little cold. Your hands aren't cold?
No, today I'm fine.
These guys are freezing. Like Victor's got his jacket on.
Prad, honestly, you know.
He said he's freezing. It is chilly. I don't have my sweater today.
Do you know where Iceland is? Remember he was like Vancouver. Remember?
I was about to say.
Greenland. He likes Greenland. That's a good one, actually. Good one, Brad. That was nice.
Did he just say it's near Greenland?
No, he likes Greenland.
He likes Greenland.
Okay, but just back to Facebook here. I just want to show you guys something. I was like, I don't know why I didn't buy there. I mean, we just went down to that low. That's a Sean trade right there. And then you're in the money $1. We're scalping out. We're doing dances. We're hitting bangs. But instead, we're talking about coldness and truffles. So that was a huge missed opportunity right there. That's like a Katina special right there. Comes right back into a name that we like. Boom. Should have had that. Would have hammered that to the long side. Missed opportunity there. But hey, man, so be it. Always missed opportunities when you're trading as active as we are, right?
It's gonna be part of the case, guys. But it is 11 o'clock. We said we're going to Trader Prad. Hopefully he warms up a little bit because apparently I think it's cold. I don't think it's freezing. It's not Iceland, man. But
I mean, dude is in jorts.
Knock him out of the park there, guys. Plenty of movement this afternoon. Let's see it. Go get him, Trader Prad and Miss V, Market Movers.
I think we're also missing a light here of some sorts. It's a little dark here. I'm not sure what's going on, but it's time for the best show on the internet. It's time for Market Movers. Coach Pratt in the seat, and we got the beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Prad. Guys, welcome back, everyone. I hope you're having a great day so far. Please, as usual, be active on the chat. Ask us anything. Smash that like button, and I'm on team Prad in here. It's freezing. It's